I'm back. Did you like this video yet? Did you like it? Did you like it? If not, I'm blocking every single one of you. I'm blocking all of you right now for 5 minutes. So like now, and then I'll unblock all of you. Hi. STG, yes. Hello, unblock us. Okay, I'll unblock you guys now. And Cubby says, I liked it yesterday. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for being here. There's way too many of you to go down this chat right now. I know we've been chatting back and forth. I like to chat a little bit with you guys while I'm prepping. So thank you for being here. My apologies for not being here yesterday. We can talk about that, why I wasn't here later on the Millie After Dark. We're going to get right into it, talking about Mackenzie. Did I miss anything? We just started. Thank you for being here. First of all housekeeping rules out of the way, like the video, share, notifications on. Been waiting all day for this. I know. I left you guys on red. I know. Sorry about that, but I will make it up to you guys. Maybe another Mackenzie live later tonight. Definitely, I want to try to get 2 done tomorrow. You stood us up last night because I thought you guys were cheating on me with Hannah. Okay? I thought you guys were cheating on me with Hannah. Please scoop. I swear I'll make it on time. Okay, so we're like almost 4,000 pages into these texts. So we got about, I think, like 26,502 pages left. So bless your heart for being here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get right into it. We are reading text messages between Dom and Mackenzie. Hello. Yeah, why are you on D&D, Melly? You cheating on us? No, you guys are cheating on me. Where were you guys? Where were you guys last night when I was gone? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys were probably with Hannah, with Jada, with Carl. What were you guys doing last night? Olive Garden? No, I want Charlie's. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So we left off, I think it was getting pretty crazy. We left off, they were fighting. Hello, God servant, LT, hello. Are you coming? Okay, so yeah, they were fighting. I went pee and seen hella cops. Are you coming back? Dom says, I don't know. I know they were in the middle of fighting because she's saying N-word WTF. So we're on March 22nd, 2020. Yes. I was listening to the dad text. Well, I'm glad you came right over here, Jess, or else I was going to get really pissed off. Yeah, really pissed off. First time chatting for your channel last week. Love your commentary. Yay, Mop Shack. Welcome. This is Mellyverse. Once you're in Mellyverse, rules are different, laws are different, YouTube is different. Just with that being said, let's get started. You're giving me anxiety. Oh my God, it was hot today. I wanted to show you guys my hair, but it was too hot today. Did you guys bring dabs? Did you guys all bring dabs? Okay, good. Let's smoke the dabs. Thirsty AF. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so she says, 322, she says, you honestly so fake. Whatever, Dom. On D&D all night being such a DICK when I'm sick and begging for you to come back. Effing Angelo helped me last night. It should have been you. I puked like 15 times. She said, oh, they were fighting. And she was like, I'm going to drink all your Patron. Remember? Thanks, Amy. She says, I like your hair. She was like, I drank all the Patron. And she was acting like a drunk kebab. And then she's like, just kidding. I didn't drink all your Patron. When he was like getting mad about it. So, okay. She drinks the Patron. He says, I can't be there to comfort you when we trying to separate. And she says, F you, Dom. You're so fake. I can't believe I thought you would change and be there for me ever. But you never are, so whatever. You treat Carl better than you treat me, she says. Might as well F him. Oh, hell no. Oh my God. She's like, you might as well F him. You might as well F him if you're not paying attention to me. Hey, Sammy, Six Mason says, this is my new favorite YouTube channel. Yay. She's a little much. Okay, so she's like, you might as well F him. Remember this emoji? I know you know it. And he says, okay, I'm not texting you anymore. And she says, okay, come back right now. If you don't come back, it's a PUSSY move. And you've been making PUSSY moves all night. LMAO, you on D&D still? LOL, you are such a DICK. Thanks for making it up to me. Dom, I'll just get a ride to Carl's. And Dom says, you're trying to make me feel guilty. I'm not effing with it. That's not cool at all. That's why we're separating for a little. And she says, I'm not effing with doing you this. So I think she meant I'm not effing with you doing this. And N-word, you should feel terrible making your girl cry and puke. Like, WTF, come back. And Dom says, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'll just talk to you later. Mackenzie says, no, come back. I'm so mad at you. I should just smoke all your weed. And Dom says, no, I'm not. She says, LOL, I'll roll a wood. And he says, I mean, you can try, but you won't smoke very much. She says, I'm gonna roll one right now, and I'm gonna keep rolling till I do it too. I'm mad at you. So mad at you, I swear to God. And he says, LOL, if you F anything up, I just won't let you come over anymore. And he says, stop trying to make me mad. She sends a blank message, and then she sends another blank message. And he says, and stop trying to make me feel guilty. Blocked, he said. And she says, I love that emoji. No. And he says, blank message again. And he says, blocked. And she says, no. I'm coming to Carl's then. And he says, yeah, good shit. Just go ahead and try to piss me off. And she says, if you block me, I'll be on my way fast. And he says, I'm about to dip Carl's right now. And she says, okay, I'll be here waiting. He says, I'm not going there. She says, why? WTF? You are mean as F. I hate you. I effing hate you so much, she says. He says, sorry, I don't know if I'm going to come. And she says, come. And he says, I just smoke the wood and go home. She says, come smoke, then I'll leave. Make it not green. Come smoke with me. I'm not going on a break if I don't see you today. And he says, we're not on a break. We're breaking up indefinitely. Oh my gosh. How many times has he tried to break up with her? Is anyone keeping track? I think like 7,542, right? Thank you, Amy, Pennsylvania says, for the longest time, I thought D&D was Dungeons and Dragons. I'm dead. No, girl, it's do not disturb. So demanding. Dom, I would have thrown my phone into the ocean. Way to put your foot down. She tries to break up with him literally, or he tries to break up with her literally every time we read these texts. I wish he actually would have. She literally won't let him. So he says, we're breaking up indefinitely. And she says, what? Come back. We are not breaking up. We're not breaking up. And he says, yeah, that's what I've been saying. Break up for a little. And she says, you said indefinitely. He said, yeah, indefinitely, not definitely. And she says, I don't want to break up forever. And he says, indefinitely means not permanent. That's why I sent you that photo. And she says, okay, please come smoke with me one last time. I thought indefinitely means forever. And he says, are you already smoking it? And she says, sparking it right now. Angelo's with me. And he says, I'm salty. And she says, why? He says, because I haven't been able to come home to eat or brush my teeth or do anything I need to do. And now you're smoking my weed and my woods. And I didn't even get to hit your first wood. And she said, I said you can come. I told you to come. And Dom says, I can't with you being crazy there. She says, I'm not crazy. I'm leaving soon. I'll leave after the wood. Come smoke. And he says, N-word, what he's smoking again? And she says, come back. And he says, whatever, I was on the way back. I don't think I'm going to go there anymore. And she says, come back. Why are you doing this? I let the wood go out. It's here. I want you to hit it. And she says, I saved it for you. And he says, I don't know. And she says, come hit the effing wood, babe. I have $40 for you too. Like, come back. I'm going to Megan soon. Come back right now. I want to leave. And he says, my mom pissed me off. I don't know if I'm going to come. She says, just come in here and don't talk to her. The wood smacked. There's still a lot left. And he says, I already did. I just left again. She says, I knew I heard something. He says, nah, you already started smoking without me. Wow. So Dom went home. Ignored her, didn't say anything to her, kind of got into it with his mom, He leaves and she's literally upstairs smoking his weed. How uncomfortable. She's always at his house. Thank you, Mark. The best Mark ever. Because I was going to block him if he didn't get 5 memberships. Just kidding. Just kidding. Thank you, Mark, for gifting. Woo, woo. Who became members? Who became members? Am I too far behind? Oh, no. Not me being behind. Well, because I'm reading these texts. Welcome all new members to Mellyverse. So it was Mayela's mom, Thopper, Jockey, Mom Shack, Bum. Yay! Thank you, Mark. Everyone say thank you to Mark for gifting. That's so nice. Unblock me, Melly. Is it a blunt or black and mild? It's a wood, she said. It's a wood. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Mark, for gifting. That is so helpful to the channel, and people get to become members of Mellyverse. I haven't done a Melly After Dark, but Melly After Darks usually pertain to members, and that's like a whole different side of me. So if you can't handle both, BB, don't worry. Just come back for the true crime lives and McKenzie. But if you can handle both, then become a member so you can join those lives. We do things like drink, hang out, shopping. We talk about whatever over there. So thanks for supporting her. I love this channel. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. So he says, I know you heard something. And he says, no, you already started smoking it without me. And she says, Dom. And she sends a picture of $40. So she's like, here's the money that I'm going to give you for smoking your weed, is basically what she's saying. And she says, see, come hit it, LMAO. It's good AF. I want you to hit it. Just come back and go straight to your clean ass room. I'm looking at the window at your spot. And he says, nah, bruh, just take your wood and go to Megan's. She's like, no, come hit it. I need $40 worth of bud. So just come back so I can leave. He says, you can just have a handful for free. She says, you're being really bipolar. Like you tell me to smoke it alone, then get mad when I smoke it. Then I put it out. Then you say no. I want you to give me the good stuff, she says, and I need dabs. I'm completely out. He says, maybe because I didn't eat dinner or breakfast, and maybe because you're smoking my bud. She says, you said I could. You told me to smoke like 30 times. Come back and hit the wood, Dom. And she says, it's not a big deal. Give me dabs so I can leave. Can you make it blue, please? Do you think you could sell me 1 pack of backwoods? Dom, I'm for real getting mad. Like, stop being a DICK. I'm literally telling you that I'm leaving. I just need weed and dabs. And he says, can you go home now? And she says, I guess if you really want me to, can you make text blue and unblock me on everything? Wow. So they have each other blocked. He blocked her on everything again right now. So she's like, can you unblock me? And then she's like, Dom. And he's like, look, just go in the bathroom and then you can stay. I'm going to leave for a little. Just let me grab some shit. And she says, that's fine. LOL, I'm in. How long are you going to be gone? And he says, I don't know. She says, are you doing runs? And can I come out now? And he says, yeah, stay in there for a little while I get ready. And she says, LMAO, okay. Bathroom floor sticky as shit. Are you done? And he says, give me 1 sec. And Mackenzie said, LMAO, people trying to pee. He says, you can get out. She says, see you in a little. He says, I'll come tag the wood right quick. She says, let me hit it too. When are you coming back? And he says, 5 guys, fries, and little burger. And she says, LOL, sure. Sounds good. Only get cheese lettuce, please, babe. And unblock on Insta. Yo, text me back. Try to have movie night, LOL. What are you doing now? Did you get it out? And he says, I have to get my runs done now. When you're on your last one, can you come scoop? Then we can have movie night, LOL. And he says, maybe. She says, all right, hit me up soon. But you got your car out. How long did it take? And he says, a while. She says, that's effed. If you get lonely, come scoop. I'll do runs with you. He says, okay. She says, what up now? He says, I don't know. I'm trying to chill tonight. I don't know if I'm trying to chill tonight. And she said, you sure? Are you home? I'm trying to talk to you. It's cool if we don't chill tonight. What if we just have official movie night tomorrow? He says, we're supposed to be on a break or break up, remember? And she says, remember quarantine? I thought you were going to still hang out with me on quarantine. Remember when you said we would be quarantine buddies? He says, no, I didn't. I gave you books to read. I did for a second. And he says, and Mackenzie says, I left it at your house on accident. And he says, but then I just gave you books. We can chill tomorrow maybe. And she says, I'm still more than halfway on the other one. But a while ago you told me we could be quarantine buddies. You said if we get quarantined, you would hang out with me every day. He says, no, I didn't. She says, yes, you did. We were on FaceTime. I posted a YOLO and people just said creepy shit, so I deleted it. Before you sleep, want to FaceTime for like 10 minutes? He doesn't respond. And she says, I might just go to bed because my stomach hurts. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. We gonna get through this quarantine shit together, babe. And he says, okay, babe, good night. And then she says, I'm still up, so if you want to FaceTime, we can. And she says, I hate Snap today. Oh, wait, so that was on 3/22 at 11:50. Then the next morning at 11:57 a.m., she says, I hate Snap today. I'm for real going to freak out. Call me ASAP. This is actually important. Dom, answer. And he says, okay, what's up? I just got out of the shower. And she says, I effed up. Call me. He says, no, just text me. She says, I see you still can't be there. If I wanted to text you, I would have already effing done it. And he said, text. She says, she sent an audio message and then another audio message. And he says, oh, LOL. And she sends another audio message and she says, LOL, so funny. I'm so dead. He said, I'll let you borrow another one. She says, it's not even my bong. He says, that one was cheap anyway. Oh, so she broke somebody's bong. Do you guys know what a bong is? I had too many quarantine buddies. Can you guys imagine dealing with Mackenzie during the pandemic? Holy cow. No, thank you. Okay, so then he says that one was cheap. And Mackenzie says, where do I even get that? Dom says, it's okay. It's Angelo's. She says, yes. I'm looking everywhere. He says, he won't give a single F, I promise you. And she says, he will. I don't want to make him mad. And Dom says, no, I'm positive. Mackenzie says, I'm flipping out. Dom says, okay, well, I just told you that you don't have to flip out. It's like $15 Amazon bong. I'll get another. Mackenzie says, I feel bad. I didn't mean to. And she sends a picture of an Amazon item. She says, now I only have to have a ship pink one that I'm not hitting. He says, I said I'll let you borrow one. I don't even use a bong. And she says, when? I'm trying to order that bong, but it's not letting me. I was about to effing hit it too. I'm so upset. I'm going to the glass house. This dumb ass at the glass house pissing me off. I'm with my mom and she asked for my ID, like WTF. Then she didn't let me in the effing back. Dom says, because you're not old enough. And she says, I go effing back there all the time. Every time, she says, now I don't have an effing bong. Dom says, I said I'd give you one. She says, then can I come over now? Effing R-word, ask glass house employee. Oh my God, I'm so salty right now, she says. And he says, no, you can't. She says, how am I going to get an effing bong then? I have nothing I can smoke out of. And he says, I'll give you one later. Just smoke out of something else I made homemade bongs till I was 16. Mackenzie says, I don't know how to make a homemade one. I don't effing want to. I'm for real so mad. And Dom says, okay, well, I'll talk to you later when you're calm. And Mackenzie says, unblock me on Insta and Snap. And how the F can I smoke when I have nothing? And he says, stop being mean. And she says, how am I being mean? I have nothing to smoke out of and no one is helping me. Dom, OMG, Dom, I can't effing smoke. I have nothing to make a bong and you're not even helping me. And Dom says, I don't have to help you. Stop freaking out. And Mackenzie says, I can't even find anything to make a good one. And she says, why don't you help? You should help. WTF. You tell me you're going to give me a bong. Then you say I can't come over right now. Then you don't help me find a way to effing smoke. And Dom says, I didn't say when I'd give you one, but I will. Mackenzie says, what do I need to make a good bong? Like, what do I even use? And Dom says, take a big bottle and cut off the top with scissors. Mackenzie says, everyone in the house is is a effing annoying ass. Where do I get a big bottle? And Dom says, take a little bottle and cut the bottom. Mackenzie says, okay. He says, don't even make a GB. And she says, why? He says, you don't have Bic pens? She says, I'm not using an apple. And probably, and he says, it's going to make a bong. The pen, she said, how? And he sends a picture of how to make one. And he says, find this pen and then get a Gatorade bottle. And she says, okay, what do I do with that? Dom, I need to know what to do with the pen and the Gatorade, OMG. And he says, LOL, my bad. Did you find it? She says, my mom is getting them from the store. Wow. Wow. Oh, Uncry Me. Uncry Me is the best. Uncry Me gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Uncry Me and Mark, for gifting. That is so kind of you and so helps my channel. Welcome all new members. Thank Uncry Me, please, for gifting. That's so sweet. Thank you, Uncry Me. I appreciate you so very much. And then I'm sick of hearing about the bong already. And why is her mom taking her to buy bong stuff? Like, this is a problem with Natalie Shirilla. You know what I mean? This is a problem with her. And why Mackenzie was the way that she was. Okay, so she says, my mom is getting them from the store and I have Gatorade bottles. What size? And Dom says, doesn't matter. Just not the big one, small one, or regular. She says, okay, I have those. And he says, find a sock that's like 3/4. A socket. And she says, WTF is a socket. I'll ask my dad, LOL. And she says, have your dad help you with that. He def has a socket wrench and you can find one that fits. And she says, LMAO. And Dom says, LOL. She says, my dad just gave me a bong. If you guys didn't hear the text messages between Mackenzie and her dad, make sure you check that live out. Yeah, okay. So Steve Shirilla was definitely smoking and supporting Mackenzie smoking weed and Dom smoking weed. This is wild. She says, my dad just gave me a bong. Wow. Yeah, nice one, Dad. Nice one. Okay, so she says, my dad just gave me a bong, and Dom sends a blank text, and then she says, that I never knew he had. Want to see it? OMG, the bong he has effing sucks. I effing hate my life. And Dom says, let me see it. Just find the socket then. And she says, he gave me a whole ass wrench. He's not letting me use the effing socket. He says, tell me you need the sock with the hole in it. What? And she says, he's not giving me it. I hate my life, she says. I'm going to the glass house and just getting a bong. F my dad. He took the bong away from me and he's not giving me a socket. And Dom says, well, just get a simple one and get a good nectar collector. She says, what kind? Nectar collector? I'll look it up. He says, yeah, get one that bubbles. And she says, okay, I'll ask. I'll text you when I'm in the store. And then she says, my dad is a psycho. Bye, babe. They lied. I'm going away forever, she says. Wait, what? She says, they lied. I'm going away forever. Love you so much. Dom says, yeah, what? What do you mean? Where are you going? What do you mean you're going forever? You can't be serious. And that was on 3/23/2020. And then on 3/25, so it's like it skips. So then she says, are you eating without me? He says, no. She says, then where are you at? He says, kitchen. She says, come in your room. I mean, you could have told me so I wasn't just sitting here waiting for you to come home. I need to pee, she says. Will you be done soon? And he says, yeah, sorry, let me finish up. She says, LOL, it's okay. I'm so hungry. I'm tempted to just walk there. And Dom says, I mean, you could if you really want to, or I'll go pick it up. Mackenzie says, I just don't know what to get. I'm laying down because my stomach hurts. And he says, Kenzie, you can't just not eat if you're not in the mood for anything. That's bad for you. Dr. Sebi said you can't eat food for taste, but for health, which is kind of bullshit, but it is for real sometimes. And she says, I know, I want to eat. I'm hungry AF. LOL. I just have no clue what to eat. And Dom says, just go eat a kiwi to get your stomach going, or blueberries. She says, I've been trying to think this whole time. And he says, even if you don't want that main, just try a bite. Just try to bite it. Maybe just main, or maybe just try to bite it. I don't know. She says, no, I don't know, Dom. Do you have any ideas for food? And he says, any fruit we have in there, or like breakfast food, like pancakes or cereal. And she says, Dom, none of that is filling. Like, I need to be full. I don't want to be hungry again in 10 minutes. This is gay AF. I'm just going to go look up ideas. And he says, it's because they're all water-based foods. Let me know if you get an idea. I'll come make it. She says, what if we get KFC mashed potatoes? If you don't like food there, I'll find something else. Dom says, I could just get popcorn chicken. You sure you want that for breakfast though? And Mackenzie says, I'll find something else. And he says, I'll get it. She says, I'm looking for something else. We can get sushi, Dom. And he says, from where? I'll get it. She says, just come back first. I don't know. And then she says, come back, ? And he says, okay, I'll come back in a sec. And she says, where are you at right now? And he says, Carl's, about a dip. She says, okay, just come back fast. I'm bored. Are you going to come? ? He doesn't respond. And she says, Dom, come. Dom, come into your room. He says, okay, I'll come in a sec, babe. My mom is just making baked potatoes too. Will you have one of those? And she says, just regular ones. Okay, why does she just wait in his room? Like, why isn't Dom's mom like, hello? And why is she being told what to eat? She's not like an adult. She can't just think of what she wants to eat herself. Like, what the hell is wrong with her? Why is she in the room? Like, everybody's out in the living room and stuff. And his mom is like making dinner and she's just in the room. It's weird. I'm like, is Dom making her stay in the room, or she just want to stay in the room because maybe Miss Russo doesn't like her? So she says, Dom says, okay, I'll come in a sec, babe. My mom is making baked potatoes. Will you have one? She says, just regular ones, like normal potatoes. He says, yeah, like a potato baked in the oven. She says, no seasoning? If so, yes. LOL. She says, I liked baked potatoes. And he says, no, only salt and stuff. Okay, bet. And she says, can you come now? ? And she says, Dom? And he says, I'll come in a sec. And she says, I'm bored. And he says, what? She says, come back. Can I come in there or something? Like, you just came back. And he says, yeah, give me a sec. I'll let you know. And she sends a blank message. And then she says, I'm about to just get tired. Like, I literally hear you guys having a normal convo. Are you going to let me come in the room or not? Where are you at? And he says, my sister is like talking to me. I can't just leave. And she says, I was just wondering if you were there. Come back when you're done. Babe, I need to go to the bathroom. And she says, Dom? And he says, what? And she says, my packages came. 2 of them. He says, that's what's up. Which ones? She says, I don't even know. I bought one of the shirts that came. I bet one of the shirts that came. And she says, but I'm for real sad. I'm so angry. And he says, you're sad and angry? She says, my mom put up weird ass signs all over the house. I want to leave. And he says, like what? And she says, like, you are strong, shit like that, like everywhere. And then she sends a picture of herself. And then she says, I'm gonna post this. Do you like? Look at Insta. What should I make the caption? You always have good ones. He says, on the tracks, but ain't no running, no trains. But ain't running no trains. She says, what does that mean? And what if people think I'm talking about the bad kind of running a train? LOL. And he says, that's what I meant. And she says, I was about to say LMAO. Give me a good one, a real one, LMAO. He says, okay, I'll let you know soon. She says, okay, bet. And then she says, send one. He says, I don't know. There's a weed strain called Trainwreck. You can do something with that. She says, should I put blazing Trainwreck? And he says, no, train on the tracks, just a lot of Trainwreck. LOL. I don't know, for real. And she says, LMAO. That's what I'm saying. Megan wants me to do Backwood Babe or Blazing Babe. Dom says, blunt weight like trains. She says, should I do that one? If nature's illegal freedom doesn't exist, or should I just do blazing? And he questions it and says, probably that one. And she says, what one? First or second? And he says, if nature illegal. And she says, okay, I'm gonna do it. Like, comment, baby. And he says, okay. She says, babe, go like and comment. Oh my God, I can't. Wait, not her asking him, like, what should I put as a caption? You guys, what should I put as a caption in my videos? Did she talk to the nurse before the surgery? Wait, I'm missing your comments. Let me go back for a little bit. Yeah, I think he's in the mom's house next door. This is not okay, you guys. This is not okay. She's so annoying. I can't with this shit. I know. Okay, so she's trying to make him jealous. So she says, babe, go like and comment. And she says, my nail is so effed. And she says, want to go on a boon together soon? And he says, tonight? And she says, yes. He says, we're about to go to Helltown. She says, bring me. Oh my God, please. And he says, it's all N-word or I would bring you. So he's like, it's all dudes. And she's like, please just bring me. And he's like, I'll bring you another time. And she's like, I really wanted to go there. He's like, I don't know if we're going to get there. AJ and Carl's going. I'll bring you another time, he says. And she says, I don't care. I won't talk to them. Please, Dom. Why do you always go cool places with them but never bring me? Just bring me too. He says, I will bring you. Just not today. She says, Dom, you're not going to want to do that again for a while. Just bring me too. Like, you can talk to them and I'll just talk to you. Dom? And he says, can I just please go with them? I'll take you another day. She says, you go cool places with them all the time. You always do adventurous fun shit with them. And he says, it wasn't my idea. George and Corey are trying to have us go. And she says, you're still going. And there's 2 more people I'm cool with. Like, just bring me. Dom, you can easily bring me. And he says, I'm not trying to. She says, you're not trying to what? Go to the place? If you don't want to go, then don't go. Like, you go to cool places with ugly ass Carl and AJ. Dom, is she ridiculous? Like, he's trying to say, I don't want to go with you. Like, I don't want to go with my... She's like, oh, you don't want to go? And no, he doesn't want to go with you, Mackenzie. Like, his friends don't like you, obviously for a reason. You know what I mean? So she says, Dom. And then she says, blank text. And then she says, so that's how it's going to be? He says, I really don't. They're bringing me. She says, who's driving the effing car? They use you for your car. Now, I definitely can never be cool with Carl or AJ again. F Carl, I hate him so much. You literally could have brought me, but no. He says, I don't even think we're going to go anymore. She says, then let's boon. I for real hate Carl so much. He says, bruh, I didn't even know we were supposed to chill again tonight. She says, we weren't. He says, okay, word, we can chill tomorrow probably. She says, I was trying to chill because I'm bored. You're always down to do fun shit when it's with ugly ass Carl. Whatever, Carl and AJ are probably gay together so they can S my D. Can I just come over early tomorrow? Dom? Okay, just ignore me. You literally told me you wouldn't ignore me. Like, you promised me you wouldn't. And now it's been 50 minutes. I'm trying so hard not to flip the F out. I'm so mad right now. I'm for real mad right now. And he says, I'm not trying to. I'm really fried right now. She says, how's the abandoned building that you probably weren't going to? And being too drunk or too high isn't an effing excuse to break a promise. And she says she disliked his message. And she says, Dom, you're about to make me flip the F out. All the grimy ass kids you're with can S my D. And then she says, OMG. I'm mad as F now. Thanks for lying. You ignore me. You lie. Then you leave me on read, she says. And then Dom says, George car got stuck in the mud. Mackenzie says, good. F his car. And then she says, you effing promised you wouldn't ignore me. I get home and that's the first thing you do. He says, bruh, I don't know. And she says, of course you don't. You never know. I hope his car is effed, and I hope Carl get his ass beat. How come anytime you're effing with Carl, you ignore me? And you just lied to me and broke a promise that you told me you wouldn't break. And you're really thinking replying slow and dry makes me any less mad? You just lied and broke a promise. I'm so effing mad now. You're on D&D. Of course, you promised me and just break it ASAP. I should have known. And he says, George is stuck, bro. I'm trying to help. And she says, get off D&D. I don't know what the F is wrong with you. It literally took you less than a day to break a promise you told me you wouldn't break. I for real actually thought you would keep it, but no, as soon as you're with that deformed ass N-word, Carl, then you start being dry and a liar. And that's karma for breaking a promise now. George's car gets stuck. Nice to see God on my side. Okay. No, God is not on your side. What the heck? He never promised. She's always angry. Oh my God, here she goes again. Wow. She says, God is on my side. Get off D&D. And he says, okay, I'll talk to you later. She says, whatever, Dom, Carl's done. Just wait. Get off D&D and stop ignoring. It's not hard. You for real just upset the F out of me. I can't believe you broke a promise. I'm going to sleep. And he says, bruh, no, I had to do my shit. I can't be on my phone. She says, you didn't have to break a promise because that upset the F out of me. And now I'm upset. I was just chilling, but now I can't because you just pulled some shit again. Like you didn't even say sorry or get off D&D. Like I don't give an F you with grimy kids. It's the fact that you ignore me and leave me on red like you just did. And she sends a blank message and he says, we got it out. And she says, Corey's a bitch. Say sorry and get off D&D like WTF. Like you broke an effing promise. Dude, Mackenzie, chill out. Oh my God. You think if she smoked this much, she'd at least be a little more chill. Like, oh my God. She probably has high blood pressure and she needs to take a lisinopril because like, holy shite. You know what I mean? Up and down. Oh my gosh. It is so much up and down. Who said that? I saw somebody say, Mark, up and down, freaking roller coaster. The fact that Dom is, yeah, I know. Toxica to the fullest. What did he see in her? You guys tell me what he saw in her. Tell me what you guys think. If you're a dude, would you date her? If you're a girl, do you want to be her? I'm laughing because I know none of you ladies in the chat want to be her. Where did she learn to play these games? Good question. Okay, so she says, like you broke an effing promise. It's not okay to do that. All right, Dom, be like that again. I don't know what you put me through this when you know I'm having a rough time with life right now. Hey, Shanta. Melly Toxica all the way. You would think she would be chill. From Natalie, says Shanta. Yeah. And this was like 2 years before the crash. So can you imagine like what she was like before the crash? Wow. She says, I don't know why you put me through this when I'm having a tough time with life right now. And he says, I'm sorry. And yeah, I've been helping hella. And she says, it's whatever. Never break a promise again. When you up, can I come over? He says, you're so unreasonable. I'm going back to bed. And that was on 3/28 at 8:54. And then at 10:29, she says, I'm up. You for real broke a promise, Dom. That's not good. Let's hang when you're up. I want to leave. And he says, okay, I'm mad now. Why do they keep doing that? Like, why do they keep doing like, oh, I thought you were mad now. Like, is that gaslighting, manipulation? Like, thank you for reading this. Thank you, Gabby, for being here. I can't imagine telling someone like, I'm going to be mad now every single time. Like, I don't get my way. You know what I mean? It's just, oh my God, it's so emotionally exhausting. And we're not even in the relationship. I can't imagine how both of them felt. So he says, okay, I'm mad for real right now. And he says, say you're sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just feel like, again, Dom just kind of eggs this on, right? Like, say you're sorry. Like, I think it's abusive, verbally abusive. Is he mocking her? I don't know. I just think this is crazy. He says, say you're sorry. And she says, I'm sorry too. It just made me sad because you promised you wouldn't ignore me. As soon as Carl came around, you ignored me. And he says, N-word, George Carr was stuck. I was effing doing shit. If I was sleeping, I would ignore you too. Like, I don't like how he calls her names and like says all of these things to her. Like, I know that she's also very toxic and abusive to him, but like this back and forth with each other and just like the language that they talk to each other is so hurtful and just so disrespectful. Like, it's not cool. It's not cool. Let's not act like Dom is a saint. Dom is definitely not a saint. She's a definition of DMS5. Oh, thanks, Sunburn. Yeah, he should have never tapped that for real. No, he shouldn't have. Dom says, if I was sleeping, I would ignore you too. Mackenzie says, it was before that. Dom says, now I'm salty AF. You're so unreasonable. And she says, I don't care if you're sleeping and don't answer. I just said sorry. Why are you mad? And he says, because I try so hard and you get mad at me for just not answering. And girls can come with the boys. And girls can't come with the boys. They never have, never will. And Mackenzie says, it's the fact that you broke a promise that made me flip. I understand girls can't come. He says, I really didn't though. And she says, you did, Dom. You ignored me as soon as you were with Carl. He says, if my guy's car is stuck in a random ass parking lot and we're stuck AF, I'm gonna help. And Mackenzie said, Dom, it was before the car was stuck. Dom says, like his whole ass car is F, bro. Mackenzie says, what even happened? He says, but you just want to make it all about Carl. He tried to back out and then got stuck in the mud. And Mackenzie says, how was it stuck? He says, nah, you got me salty AF right now. Don't text me for today. And she says, OMG, you told me you would be there for me. And then you do this. You said we can probably hang later. I don't want to be in this effing house, Dom. And he says, don't take advantage of it. She says, I'm not, ? He says, whenever I tell you to do something or be there for you, something, you just hold it over my head. She says, you shouldn't be the one mad, but it's whatever. He says, hold it over his head. And she says, I'm not even doing that. Why do you always think I am? And he says, no, I'm so effing mad. I want to effing yell to the top of my lungs and break shit again. Okay, so that message right there where he says, I want to yell at the top of my lungs and break shit again. So they definitely have been physical with each other. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind. And that is not okay. That is not okay. That's really scary. I'm also wondering, these were selected text messages. These are in the evidence package. So they were selected because they prove that the relationship was toxic and prove probably domestic violence, you know? It's terrifying. Surprised she didn't put an air tag on him. Yeah, that's scary. We need to hear Carl's opinion about her. So he says, no, I'm effing mad. I want to yell at the top of my lungs and break shit again. And she says, how are you that mad? And he says, like, N-word, I just took care of you for a week and you're going to give me bullshit? I don't take bullshit. Sorry. You're not pushing me around. She says, I literally cried when you were taking me home. What? She says, I'm not pushing you around. I don't know what's going through your head right now. And he says, I don't know what's going through your head right now. Treat your babe like effing shit. And she says, I don't. Dom, you broke a promise. I got upset, then I just stopped caring. I go to bed, then wake up, and you're just mad. And he says, yes, you do hold me to super high standards no one else has ever held me to before. And she says, I really don't, though. Don't be like this, Dom. And he says, like, I'm unbelievably mad. I tried so hard, even when you were being a straight bitch, that one day I offered so many times to make your food and stuff, but no, you got to just keep pushing me. And she says, wow, WTF. So that's how you see it. And she says, when I told you I was upset because I got no sleep and gonna take that as me being a straight bitch, Dom, I said thank you like 300 times. That was the best week of my life. And he says, excuses. She says, I don't know why you think I just didn't notice you trying. I'm thankful AF. And he says, yeah, but then you expect me to do that or more all the time. And she says, do what all the time? Try? ? He says, nah, bruh, I'm done talking. Leave me alone. And she says, Dom, stop. I don't need this. Please don't. I'm stressed the F out being home. And now you're all mad at me for getting mad that you broke a promise. She always says that. I'm so over being home. Like, I don't like being home. I'm so unhappy here. He was a real one for that, holding him to the stand. It must be so stressful. Dom says so much. So she's what? And she's dumb. There's no promise that was broken. Chill out, Mackenzie. I get it. She's probably younger, so she's really immature, but like, this is too much. This is too much. With like the parents allowing them to be like together, even if they probably couldn't prevent it all the way. I don't know. So she says, you're the one who broke the promise. And he says, yeah, and I always am. And I'm always mad. She says, I didn't spam you. I just stopped caring and went to sleep. Like, why do I never do anything right? That's not true, she said. And he says, to be honest, I've never been okay in my whole life. You're not making it any better right now. I feel like Dom was definitely going through it, right? Dom definitely had inner demons that he was fighting. I mean, he says it all the time. He's like, I want to be by myself. I have to work on myself. My life sucks. You're not making it any better. I didn't spam you. Carl was an ex. Mackenzie's ex? No way. Carl? This feels more like a pimp hooker relationship. It doesn't feel right. No wonder all of their friends knew what was going on. Fighting himself and Kensley definitely didn't help. She's a spoiled little brat. At least he admitted he had problems. Yeah. So Dom says, to be honest, I've never been okay in my whole life. You're not making it any better. She says, I'm not trying to even argue. I want to come over and hang out with you and not argue. Like, I tried to fix this last night. And Dom says, you keep telling me I broke a promise. Like, what the F did I do? Mackenzie says, by sleeping. He says, I said we couldn't hang out and then you went to sleep. And Mackenzie says, you promised me you wouldn't ignore me. It's not even that, Dom. I said, promise you won't break it, and you promised. He says, okay, I'm done talking. Don't text me, or I'll just say block because I don't want to hear you. And she says, OMG. Stop. And he says, I'm just going to keep getting mad if you do. She says, I'm done arguing. Normal convo. He says, no convo. She says, Dom, you told me we can probably hang today. I really don't want to be home. You also said you wouldn't block me too. You promised it wouldn't be bad again. As soon as I leave, you hate me again. That's a huge reason why I didn't want to leave, because I didn't want me and you to go bad. Babe. Dom, please text me. Sad face. Babe, Dom, text me. OMG. And Dom says, you're making me mad. That's what's going bad. And she says, I didn't do anything but get upset. And now you're ignoring me. I wanted to hang out today. Like, now I'm flipping out because I have to sit here alone all day. Dom, answer. And he says, it's not my problem. I'm not doing this shit. And she says, Dom, please let me come hang out. There is no shit. I want to effing come over so I can get the F out of this house. You think I want to be trapped here all day with these people? She said. These people is her mom who's paying for her commissary. Sad face, sad face. When I say sad face, it's emoji. It's a sad face emoji. Sad face. Also, it seemed weird the dad was concerned about Kenzie's phone, but now it makes sense why. Because they didn't want us to have these messages. I think she threatened to call the police. You guys, why did he stick around? It can't be the police thing. Like, can it? I don't think that was it. Because if she was going to do that, she could just threaten him. He could just threaten her back and say, well, I'll call the cops on your dad. Right? Or am I wrong? Like, do you know what I mean? Like if she was trying not to get in trouble, maybe because he was 18, but I feel like, well, the family knew that, like, well, it doesn't make it okay, I guess, against the law if it's, grape, but it's not really grape because he's only 18. Was he 18 or 20? I don't know. But definitely he's not allowed to be dating like someone under 18. But I don't think that's what was, I think she had a lot of evidence. The police knew them. Manipulators will always try to get you to promise things casually and hold on to it. I think they could both be in trouble. So their own behavior and lifestyle got them caught up with each other that they couldn't leave each other because they were both going to snitch on each other. He was in love or he's just as bad. Is that love? Like, is this really love? Hi, Abuelita. Abuelita's here, everyone. So she says, you think I want to be trapped here all day with these people? Like, I thought you were going to let me come. Like, you can go anywhere and I can just stay at your house. Please answer me, Dom. Dom, we were supposed to be in this together. And he says, taking a crap, bruh. She says, sorry, LOL. Of course you are. Can you please read what I said? Please, babe, let me come over now or at 12 or ASAP. He says, no, you made me mad, Kenzie. She says, babe, please. I can't be here all day. I hate it here. You know I didn't mean to make you mad. You also know that I'm upset because you broke a promise. Please help me, babe. And he says, okay, now I'm super salty. Don't text me or you're blocked. That was on 3/28 at 11:45. And then at 12:32, she says, hey, what up now? So literally less than an hour. And she's like, hey, are you ready yet? Like, oh my God. Hey, Whittle. So she says, hey, what up now? I forgot to tell you my dad somehow fixed my bong. Also, I have really bad anxiety right now. Text me, babe. Sad face, sad face. And he said, I said not to text me. And she says, how are you still mad? Like, you're doing this shit stresses me out a lot. And he says, because you made me mad. Don't text me. She says, I haven't been able to do shit. Why are you so mean to me? She said. And he's disliked it. And then he says, blocked. She says, no. OMG, he says. You always trying to blame everything on me. Even if you don't stop, I'm going to for real start freaking out like that one day, said Dom. These threats. The threats are so bad. They're just constantly threatening each other. Would you be okay with your 18-year-old dating a 15-year-old? I don't have kids, but when I think about it that way, I don't know. I don't think so. He says, you're always trying to blame everything on me. If you don't stop for real, I'm going to freak out like that one day. And she says, I'm not blaming you. He said, I'm not doing that again. She says, neither am I. When you're not mad anymore, can you text me? He said, you say I'm stressing you out and shit, and that I broke a promise like I heard it already. Yeah, I will. Leave me alone until then. Because I was cooling off, but I'm about to freak out again. And she says, I will leave you alone. And he says, okay. That was at 1:04 p.m. And then at the same time, she says, like, I'm stressing out. So please don't forget to text me when you're chilling. He says, I'm about to go to bed. He's about to go to bed at 3:36 p.m. in the day. Was Dom doing more than just smoking Mary Jane? Because I'm starting to think so. These mood swings and this behavior, and then him sleeping, and then her being sick, I'm just thinking they were doing something else. Or am I just crazy and getting in my head? It's only been an hour. That is official. Oh, okay. So Weddle says 15-year-old with an 18-year-old is not okay. So he says, I'm about to go to bed. I'm chilling now. I'll hit you up later, probably. She says, okay, talk to you later, babe. That was at 3:36 p.m. And then he says, I got some dabs. I'll show you later, too. She says, oh, bet. And then she says, Wes broke up with Kendra and they're beefing so hard. I'm dead AF. And he says, LOL, he hit me up to chill. She says, but if you chill with him, make sure I'm there. I want to know more about it. He says, I'd probably just not chill with him. Then and chill with you. She says, okay, bet. Can we link soon or now? I just got done doing shit and now I'm bored. And he says, probably not. Okay, I would be so frustrated. Like, I kind of can agree with Mackenzie. I bet she's just wearing him down. He's wearing her down too, though. Like, he's like, okay, let's hang out. Yeah, I want to hang out with you. Yeah, I'll have food. Yeah, make a bong, do this, do that. And then he's like, no, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't have to hang out with you every day. Like, he just also is just like getting her hopes up. And then she just wants to be with him every damn second of the day. So he says, probably not. And she says, what are you doing? Why not? It's been like 2 hours. It's way later, LOL. And he says, chilling with Angelo. What are you doing? And she says, oh, okay. He says, 2 hours is like no time. And she says, depends. I'm peeing right now. Can we chill at 7, please? I have really bad anxiety today. Boone at 7. What does that mean again? Boone? And he says, I'm still with Angelo. She says, 7:30 then. Please, babe. And he says, sorry, no. She says, you told me we can hang. You said later, and now it's later. Please, 7:30. Please do 7:30 for me. I want to leave so bad. And he says, 8-ish. And she says, can you please try to come before 8 or at 8, like exactly 8? I'm already kind of tired. I'm waiting though. Now? Please, can I come now? Emphasize now. Dom, text me back. It's 8, Dom. Why do you always just start ignoring me when it's time to hang out? He says, I was playing Crash Bandit. Sorry, babe. She says, I was for real about to get dressed. Oh, stressed. He says, oh. She says, can I get a ride over now, please? I'm like half crying right now. I thought you were just going to ignore me. Please, just let me come now. You said 8. He said, can I please just chill with Angelo and Ashish? She says, OMG, let me come. He says, I said sorry and no. Then I said 8-ish. No, you can't chill with my friends. It don't go like that. She says, I'll play with you guys. You lied to me again. I'm literally ready. And he says, lied how? And she says, I got ready at 8 when you said we would hang. Don't do this to me, please. And he says, I didn't lie. I just told you I want to chill with them, with his friends. And she's like, please don't do this to me again. And Dom said, then I said 8-ish. Please don't, Dom. Let me come. Please, please, please. Don't be like this. I'm starting to tweak out. Dom, let me come. I'm ready. Why do you do this to me? Dom, please don't do this to me. You told me 8. Dom, you lied to me again. Let me come. You told me I could come over later. I'm so upset. Dom, let me come. And he finally responds and says, Kenzie, I did not lie to you. She says, you told me we would chill. Let me come. stop ignoring me. Please don't do this. He says, I'm making pasta. She says, I waited all day. Let me, please. Please let me. Dom, please. He says, no, you didn't. I'd say I chilled with you till like 7 o'clock. She says, you said we can chill at 8. And then I canceled at 8, he said. She says, no, let me come. You are being so mean. You let me wait all day. And he says, no, you're really making me question our relationship. She says, let me come. Call me, please. Please call me. He says, no. She says, I knew it would be bad again. I'm bawling my eyes out because you're being very unreasonable, he says. She says, please let me. I'll do anything. And then she says, I'll eat pasta with you. Dom says, okay, I'm not dealing with this right now. When you calm down, look at the text messages. And Mackenzie says, Dom, listen. He says, then I'll talk to you. She says, please let me come already. You said I could. I'm calm. Please don't F me over. I was waiting. Like I got ready at 8. And he says, when you realize you're wrong and I didn't lie. And no, you can't. No, you're not calm. Trying to text you is giving me a headache. And she says, Dom, you said you were going to chill with me today. And he said, you send too many messages. She said, stop being mean. Listen, Dom, let me come. It's going to be a dick move if you don't let me stay. I'm about to just walk over. Are you serious? D&D, really? You're making me so upset. Don't tell me you're going to be there for me if you're going to do shit to me. 2 nights in a row? And she puts like 10 question marks. And he says, if you come over, we're done. She says, I'm crying so hard right now. Get off D&D. He says, calm down and look at how you're acting. She says, don't do this to me. Look at how you're acting. And he says, no. She says, you tell me we can hang. And he says, I'm positive. And then just F me over, she says. And he says, that's your wrong. And she says, I'm not wrong. I'm upset. And he says, by not hanging out with you for 3 hours. And she says, Dom, get off D&D. You told me we could hang. She emphasizes her message. She sends a screenshot literally of his message saying that at 8 they would hang out. And she says, Dom, let me come. I want my dabs that are at your house. How about this? I come at 9. Dom, can I just come at 9? I can't believe you're still on D&D. Let me come over at 9. I'll give you more time with them. Please let me come over. It gives you more time. Please do this for me. And he says, that's if we were going to chill with Wes. I mean, I didn't want to chill with you and Wes. Please, babe, she says. He says, I'd rather just chill with you or just Wes. She says, let me come at 9. And he says, no. She says, I'll leave you alone till 9. And he says, you're twisting my words and calling me a liar. And she says, so you completely effing me over again. How is that twisting your words? He said, I should be way more mad right now. If it was earlier, I would probably cuss you out. That's crazy. He probably has to agree with her just to get her to stop for a damn minute. I totally agree he does mess with her, but I feel like he says, okay, just to get her to leave him alone. Is this a someone said, is it a repeat? No, they're literally, they do this all the time. She always in the other room. I know. So this is from 3:28 at 8:39 p.m. He says, I should probably be way more mad right now. If it was earlier, I would probably cuss you out. And she says, and you did lie. He says, F you. I didn't effing lie. And she says, WTF? He says, I'm done talking to you. Get the F out. She says, Dom, when you tell me 8, then just say we can't hang. Stop, she said. And he said, don't come to my house. She said, stop. Whatever, can we hang out tomorrow? Tomorrow early? Like, can I come over tomorrow morning and sleep with you? I'm sorry for flipping out, but you need to stop telling me you're going to do something if you're not, because it makes me really upset. And he says, okay, and no. She says, why no? He says, because I'm still mad right now. She says, please just chill with me tomorrow. I need to leave my house. I hit up like 20 people and no one can hang. Don't leave me on red. Sad face. I may stay up late, so if you end up wanting to hang, text me. Babe? And he says, okay. She says, okay, sad face. Do you think you will want to chill? He says, probably not. Well, when? And she says, I don't know. I'm probably going to hang out with Gabby because she asked and no one asked me to chill. How about tomorrow? Dom, babe, I got a question. Babe, text me back. And that was at 11 p.m. on 3/28. And then the next morning at 10:58 a.m., she says, let's hang when you're up. And she says, are you up? Question mark. Dom, text back. It's about to be 4:00. Okay, babe, when you're up, text me. I want to come over. And he says, I'm going to chill with Blair and Kyle. She says, OMG, Dom, we were supposed to hang. I haven't seen you in 3 effing days. I'm for real about to flip out. I thought you were sleeping, but I guess not. OMG. She puts a lot of exclamations. And she says, effing answer, WTF. And she dislikes his message. And she says, I'm for real so upset right now. Never tell me you're going to be there for me. I've been needing to leave the house and you know you're the only place I can go and then you do this. And he says, no, we weren't. She says, and I honestly don't know why the F you're ignoring me. You're making me really upset. And he says, look, we'll hang a little later. Kristen is grounded, so I'm chilling with Kyle. Can I just go to your house and you can leave? Please. That's what she said. Why do you leave me on red? Dom, just let me come over. And you can go do whatever. Just let me. Answer. Please? Dom, answer. Dom, why aren't you answering? Exclamation mark. Dom, just let me come to your house. Like, you can leave. I don't care. I for real can't be here any longer. I'm going to freak out. What kind of relationship is that where she just goes and hangs out while he leaves and hangs out with his friend? Yeah, he's into screwing with her head. I agree, Cree. I wonder what the withdrawals were from like not having Dom after ending his life. The desperation is so embarrassing. I agree. She just, you know what it is she wants to be at his house because she feels like if she's there when he gets home, like she can control that. And she's like, it's like guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to see him. He's coming home to me. Like, I'll be there waiting for him. Like, I don't care. I just want to wait for him. He's going to just end up being with me. And like, that'll be it. Like, I feel like it's very much that, you know, she wants to escape from her home for some reason. Maybe because of Natalie Shirilla. So she says, I'm going to freak out. And he says, okay, I'll let you come in a little. And she says, OMG, thank you so much. Can I just walk over now so I can see you before you leave? Please. Dom, answer. WTF. And he says, what? Oh, that was from before. She says, LMAO. What are you doing? He says, chilling with Kyle. She says, I'm hungry. I'm going to try to find some food soon. I might DoorDash or something. LOL. He says, something. LOL. Yeah, bro. LOL. Is that what I want to, was your time for me? LOL. He did typos. And she says, LMAO. And then she says, can I smoke this? And he says, smoke what? And she sends like a picture of a roach. And then he says, yes. She says, also, there's a surprise. Okay, bet, she says. Come hang soon, Dom. And he says, I don't know. I want to hang with Kyle. I'll be there later. She says 8:30. And he says, that's early, babe. She says 9, please. He says, still early, babe. She says, Dom, OMG. No, it's not. I'm going to be effing tired. Just come back at 9 like you've been with him all day. He says, no, only since before you got there. Babe, I'm going to come back to grab Bud, but I'm going to leave again, okay? Wow. Is this still 2020? Yes, it is. He literally is like, okay, I'm going to come by and then leave again. This is ridiculous. I'm just like, this is on another level, you guys. Like another level. She's literally just going to be in his room waiting for him. And he's out living his life with his friends and stuff. He can't even be in his own home. I know. He says, babe, I'm going to come back, grab butt, and I'm going to leave again. And she says, I'm chilling with Angela because I'm bored as shit. And he says, okay. And she says, Jim puked everywhere. When are you coming back? Dom. And he says, where? In my room. And I'm about to come back right now, real quick, then go with Kyle again. She says, LMAO, no, hallway. He says, oh, okay, good. She says, tell me when you're back. He says, okay. I'll come give you a hug real quick. Why? So he's going to give her a hug and then just leave. Why not kick her out and break up with her? Like literally, and just tell your parents not to let her in. I don't think a paper would help. He's controlling her. But I wouldn't make that mistake ever again. So he says, I'll come give you a hug real quick. She says, I'll come in your room while you're here. And he says, okay. She says, how far? Dom, are you here? Come back at 10, please. Dom, text back. Okay, or don't. Can you come back soon, please? And he says, it'll be later than that. Oh, it's already 10, he said. She says, also, can you not ignore me? 10:30. Dom, try for me like I've been trying to chill for 3 days, like you've been with him all day. 10:30. And she emphasizes her message, dislikes his. And he says, okay, I'll try to come soon. We're having fun, though. She says, I'm not having fun at all. And don't say you're going to actually try because I honestly don't want to get my hopes up that you're going to try if you're just not. 10:30, pizza. Oh, and then she says, please, not pizza. He says, I can't. She says, why? So you're going to come at effing 11 when I'm only there for 1 more hour? He says, I don't know when I'm going to come. She says, that for real makes me really upset. This is why I hate your friends sometimes. Come effing back. You said soon. 10:30 is soon. I'll for real be upset as AF. You've been there since 5. It's effing 10. Or you could just come get me so we can all hang out together. Well, I'm already effing tired. Thanks so much. Quote unquote, we can chill later. Yeah, all right, she said. And she emphasizes it. Look, we'll hang a little later. Kristen is grounded, so I'm chilling with Kyle. Really? So you can text Ryan back, but not me? He says, what do you mean? She says, Ryan just came out and got the Patron, and I asked if you said he could get it, and he said, yeah. I swear to God, if you keep ignoring me, I'm going to freak the F out. Come back. OMG. You said later. It's been 3 hours. He says, oh, sorry. He called me. She says, I called you too. WTF. He says, I'll come back later. She says, no. You said soon. You told me soon. Come back. She says, I'm for real so mad. She emphasizes it. Disliked. I'll come back later. She said, you said that at 4 o'clock. It's been 6 effing hours. And he says, come on, bro. She says, no. How about you stop telling me shit and make me believe it when you know you're not going to do it? Because that's been happening a lot recently. And stop ignoring me. WTF. He doesn't respond. And she says, come back at 11. He says, I'm doing shit. No. She says, are you joking? Are you effing serious? I cleaned your room. I've been waiting for 7 hours. I can't stay over super late. You know that. You literally know that I can't. Stop telling me you're going to hang out with me, then effing me over. Quote unquote, I'll be home soon. Quote unquote, I'll chill with you a little later. And he says, sorry. She says, stop ignoring me. Don't say sorry. We both know you're not. See, like WTF is wrong with you. You're totally just fine with effing me over. You think sorry helps at all? You can't even take the time to type sorry. Like, hell nah. I'm done with you now. I'm done now. You on D&D. Thanks for being an effing dick to me for the third day in a row. He says, I'm really not, but okay. She says, all you say is that, like you dry AF. You've been saying we're going to do something, then completely F me over. Thanks for ditching me again, Dom. You're so sweet. Never tell me you're going to try again when you just sit there with fags. Wow, she's so disgusting. Then she says, F your shitty friends. Get the F off D&D when you're going to stop telling me shit than just doing it. I told you I wanted to drive and see the lights with you, but you can't even try to do that with me. I really wanted to see the lights with you, but I guess you didn't care enough. If you care, you will come. Wow. Mean AF. Wow. And he says, what? She says, I knew you didn't care. I don't know how you do this to me. Like you do it way too much. Then you just hurt me, then ignore me for hours. Come back. I'm never mean to you, no matter what. All I get from you is being a DICK. I don't get it. Come back, Seth. Come back soon, like you said you would 2 hours ago. Shake my head. I don't know why you don't want to be called a liar, but you low-key lied again today. WTF? I don't know why the F you do this shit. It's such BS. And he finally says, because you start saying shit like, I don't care and shit. I'm just having fun with Kyle. She says, Dom, you told me we could hang. You completely effed me over like you did yesterday. She says, it's so effing mean. I have such a bad headache from that shit. You lied to me again and it's really getting to me. Like you're ignoring me too and I promise not to ignore me. Come back. Why are you still on D&D? You're literally such a DICK to me. This is effed up. So effed up. Get off D&D. Stop ignoring me. And he says, sorry. She threatened to end herself. Well. Oh, do we have some Mackenzie fans? He never messages first. They never compliment each other. All they do is argue. I wonder if Natalie knows when she's at his house. Yo, she's got to hold something over his head. This is just manipulation. He's begging her to break up all the time, ignore her. I don't know how they don't get, like, I don't know how this, I mean, it literally did drive her crazy to the point where she killed him. Literally. She literally was driving in the car with him and ran that car into a building at 100 miles per hour. It's wild. We see so many red flags and we're over here freaking out about this interaction between them in 2020 prior to the accident. But like, imagine like their family always dealing with it. Like his mom obviously saw that she was over there and like waiting for him and she knew that they were fighting. And then her mom probably knows how she is. So he says, sorry. And she says, you're not sorry. He says, no, I'm just chilling. She says, at all. And he says, okay. She says, no, stop. Dom, come back. Why are you doing this to me? It's so mean. Stop. Stop, she says. Stop. She says, stop again. She says, you are so mean to me. I can't take it. She was literally crazy. I think there's so many things wrong with her and him. How does this go longer in the... I know, Angela. If you let some crazy chick harass you. I know. It's easy for us to sit here and be like, this is insane. But I feel like some of us have been in some situations like this. Whether it's with a boyfriend or a friend, like... You've dealt with someone that you're talking to that is trying to be possessive and controlling and try to like tell you who to be friends with. And like, you know, it's a big red flag all the way across the board. I just think that's just my opinion. She says, you're so mean to me. I can't take it. He says, no, you're tweaking now. She says, I'm not tweaking. You're being mean. You lied to me again. I just wanted to chill with you, she says, but you have to ditch me. Like, you don't have to do this shit to me. I don't deserve it. I'm just going to go to Kyle's or something. Like, did you forget I'm sitting at your house? Like, I feel like you're just trying to make me cry every day. You get my hopes up, then just F me over hard. If you care about me, then you will come back. He says, I'm probably not going to come back soon. She says, so you don't care. I don't deserve to be treated like this. I never deserve this. It's literally torture. He says, you're so unreasonable, though. This is what I got to do. Usually do my own thing. She says, you don't have to make me cry or ignore me. You told me we could hang. Then you ditched me. I'm not unreasonable at all. I want you to hang out with me like you said you were going to. Like it's 1 a.m. You said you would hang out with me soon either way. And Dom says, it's just hard. You wouldn't understand. Mackenzie says, how is it hard, Dom? He says, I'm sorry, though. I drank a little bit. She says, you're not sorry. Stop saying sorry. He says, okay. She says, like, come back. I'm so upset right now. I hate being treated like this so much. And of course you drink. Kyle can't go 1 hour without drinking. Please come back. Like, I feel like I'm going to be sick. You do this way too much, Dom. He says, no, not really. She says, yes, you do. She says, come back. She says, if you care about me, you will come back. Like you said, we could hang today. He said, I can't right now. I'm pretty drunk. She says, Dom, what? OMG. Why do you have to be effing drunk? Why? I effing hate Kyle. Can I just come to you now? Please, I miss you so much. Dom says, you hate everyone. And she says, answer. Drunk? Can I just come to you? Please? Dom, please let me come. I can't do this. I hate my life so bad. What the F? Why does everyone treat me so bad? Let me come to you. I'll sit in your car. Please, just let me come to you. Please, 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 please. Dom? Please? And he says, I don't know. She says, please. He says, how would you even get here? She says, Angelo. He says, I don't know. She says, if you're okay, he will drive me. Please. Please? He says, I don't know. She says, please. Please? Dom, please. Please let me come. I hate my life so much. OMG. Everyone is so mean to me. Dom, please. I'm also about to puke. He says, you need a counter approach then. She says, what? Are you letting me come? Please let me. Please let me, Dom. Dom, please. Dom, please let me come. Please, please, please. Why do you have to ignore me? Please let me come, Dom. Please, please, please. Please. Dom. Please. Dom. Please. I just puked so much right now. I feel really sick. Dom, please answer. Dom? Dom, please answer me. I don't like when you drink. Why can't you do anything for me? I hate how you always have to be so mean to me. Dom, please help me. Why are you doing this to me? Let me come to you, please. Dom? Dom, answer. Dom, answer. Dom, please let me come. Please? Dom? You're really going to have to fix this. This is at 2:02 a.m. And he says, I don't know. She says, yes or no. When are you coming back? He says, I don't know. She says, come back. We could have a fun-ass sleepover, but no. Dom, I really want to say F you and leave, but I'd 100% rather be here than go home. And you're still ignoring me, like WTF. Dom? Dom, I need help. Why won't you help me? I'm done with you treating me like this. It better never happen again. Dom? Get off D&D and come help me. You broke a promise like 30 times. I'm about to tell your mom what you're doing to me. Okay, if she's so over it, why doesn't he just leave? I wonder if she came out of the womb a demon. Yes, she did. OMG, I know, Mallory. So many. Please do not take a shot for every time she says, please. Don't give me any ideas, Sunburn Rocks. She a beggar. The way you guys think I'm making this up? Like, I'm not making this up. She really is sending all these messages. It's just insane. So she says, I'm about to tell your mom what you're doing to me. Why does she do that? She puked again. She needs to stop puking and get it together. Oh my Lord, the begging. You guys, I'm sorry. You would never catch me begging a dude like this. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but absolutely not. Not no dude, not no female. Like, I am sorry. Hey, Ash. Hi, love. I'm glad you made it. We've been missing you. Ash has been watching all of my playlists. Facts. I know a few of you have, so I appreciate it. Do not disturb. I'm about to put these text messages on D&D. Shit, I'm just being honest and to the point. No, it's true. So she says, I'm about to tell your mom what you're doing to me. She says, this is not how you treat your girl that cleans your room when you don't even ask and does everything for you. When am I going to get that in return? You know, cleaning your partner's room isn't equality when you want to verbally cuss out your partner and ruin their shit and threaten them and be drama around their family. Like, just period. You know what I mean? So she says, when am I going to get that in return? Dom, come back, OMG. And then she says, I got a tampon. Shake my head, Dom. And he says, I told her to give you one. Dom, literally, come home. He says, I can't. She says, why? Then I'll just come to you. Where are you? You should have been here last night when you told me you would be home soon. Dom, I'm coming to you. Are you at Kyle still? Stop effing ignoring me. I'm so done with you treating me shitty. N-word, you're not even at Kyle's. Stop lying. It's not cute, she says. And she says, Dom, answer me right now. Bruh, F you, WTF. Text me back right now, or I will Uber to Carl's house. And he says, N-word, what? And she says, where are you? I know you're not at Kyle's. You lied to me for no reason at all. And Dom said, I was there all night. She says, I don't believe you. Okay. I said this in my live, the last time I was live. Was he cheating? I know he was cheating, but I'm thinking, like, when he says he's gone and doing this, whatever, smoking with his friends or like whatever, I'm wondering if he's cheating on her. Everyone walking on eggshells around her, that's a lot of power for a 15-year-old. She must be dangerous. He didn't ask. Manipulative. Exactly. Just me says, holding it over his head. Yeah. Guilt tripping, says Amy. I think there's been one I love you text after maybe 4K. It just never ends. All the same shit. Yeah. She says, I don't believe you. Where are you? And this is on March 30th, 2020 at 12:29 p.m. She says, where are you? Dom, get off D&D. And Dom says, I'm about to go grab some food. She says, bring me. I'm hungry AF. I haven't eaten so long. Bring me. Dom. And he says, I don't know what I'm getting or if I'm even going. She says, I don't care. Just come get me. I'll help you pick. Where the F are you? Why are you not telling me? This is when I start thinking you're with someone. Oh, I just told you guys that. I just said she probably thinks he's cheating. Like, why is he even with her? I don't get it either. She is 15. Yay, Drakey got a membership. Yes, from Crimey and Mark gave memberships. Thank you. Okay, so she says, this is when I start thinking you're with someone. She says, Dom, come get me right now. I'm done being alone here. He says, I'm at Kyle's. And no, you're acting crazy. She says, you lied to me. I'm about to just come to Kyle's if you're going to call me crazy. You want to see what crazy is? You're an effing a-hole. And he says, acting. Keyword. He's like, you're acting crazy. Yeah, if he tells her where he is, she will just show the F up. You guys, if I was experiencing this, I would have lost my damn mind so long ago. Bless his heart. Bless her heart for continuing to do this for so long. Like, how are they just, and she wasn't even eating. I think she was so obsessed with him. She was not even eating. She just wanted to wake up next to him, go to his house. Can I come over earlier? I just wait for you. I'll wait for you in the bathroom. I'll wait for you in the doghouse. I'll wait for you in the garage. Like, it's exhausting. Even me just reading this, I'm like, dude, I would move to a different city. You would have to like move to a whole ass different planet. Literally, you would have to get on the, the rocket that like Katy Perry and them went on. Like, you would have to get on like that. She threatens to show up. Yeah, no. Someone was threatening to show up like that all the time in the doghouse. Literally, she's like in the doghouse waiting. Okay, so he says, keyword, acting. She says, that isn't nice at all. You're being so mean to me. I don't deserve this. You just told me you care about me. That makes me feel like you don't. He says, no, you be super unreasonable and then I don't come home. You just take advantage of me, he said. She says, I'm not being unreasonable. How? If anything, you do it to me. And he says, what? And he says, who always buy you food, make you food, let you come over? I'm always taking care of you. And she says, I try to pay you every time, LMAO. And he says, you ask me for help with everything, but okay then. She says, you can't use that. You never let me pay. I'll pay every time. I don't care. Please just come back or let me come to Kyle's. He says, okay, and you clean my room and you try to use that against me, but I can just clean it. Stop keeping score, he says. And Mackenzie says, I clean it better than you. I don't keep score. Please just come back or let me pull up to Kyle's. He says, yes, you do. No. And she says, I really don't. Why are you doing this? It hurts me so much. Can I just come to Kyle's and be in your car? I don't even have to come inside. Please, Dom, don't be like this. You're making it worse than it should be. You're the one who told me we could hang last night and never came. And Dom says, and you start tweaking so I don't come. She says, I start tweaking because you're ignoring me. Okay, or because you're saying soon and then never come. I know it's really effed up because I stayed up till 3 a.m. waiting for you to come back and you never did. I'm really hurt. And he says, it wasn't that late, but okay. She says, what do you mean? Yeah, it was. I would know how late I was up, LMAO. Please just come back. Or we can just get food and I'll pay. You've been with him for a day pretty much. Now come hang out with me, please. Like I'm calm now. I'm just starving. And he says, I don't know. We've been fighting all morning. I'm not in the mood. She says, we haven't been fighting. He says, I will order you food. She says, do not do that. He says, I think if you think we haven't, then you're tripping. She says, I was just going to eat here. It's a small fight. Like, Dom, I'm chill. Just come back now. Please hang with me. I miss you. I really wanted to see those lights last night too. He said, what lights? Oh, okay, I thought we missed it anyway. She says, no, we didn't. It went all night. But now it's over. And he says, no, I seen people putting them back at like 9. And she said, no, you didn't. So you got to see them, but I didn't. How did you see the lights? And he said, I looked out the window. She says, I'm so upset. He says, why? She says, did you go with Kyle? He says, no. She says, like, where did you see them? He says, I looked out his window, ? She says, I wanted to see them so bad. I didn't see any, not even out your window. He says, I didn't see really any either. I just seen someone putting theirs back. She says, I wish I seen the lights. That makes me really upset. Can you come back at 1, please? We can go to Baskin Robbins today, maybe. He said, I would literally have to leave right now to get there by 1. She says, I'm saying leave at 1 or like 1:10 or 1:20. He says, I barely even got to sleep. She says, we can just chill then. You can take a nap here too. I'll nap because I got no sleep either. And I still never told you about my dream. Please just come back, Dom. He says, you can tell me later if you want. I'm not coming back right now. And she says, no, can I come to Kyle's then, please? Or can you come back at 1:30? Dom, please answer. ? And he says, I can't. She says, why can't you? That makes no sense at all. But if you can just come, I can come to Kyle's house. I'm sure he will be cool with that. And she says, Dom, answer. And she says, I'll just walk to Kyle's. Please say okay. He says, no, babe. She says, Dom, why? Why do you do this? Why you got to do this to me? Like, I've been waiting all night and you still can't come. I really don't deserve to be treated like this. Just let me come to Kyle's. Please, Dom, answer. I'm going to do DoorDash, Chick-fil-A. Just know you're doing me really wrong. I thought I heard your car and got really excited. There was no car. He says, no, because I'm chilling with AJ too. And she says, I won't be mean to AJ. I will be chill. I'll bring the Chick-fil-A. Please let me come. This sucks so bad for me. Dom, this is not okay. Dom, this is really effed up. And he says, I don't want Chick-fil-A. She says, I won't be mean to AJ. Just let me come, please. I already ate it. And he says, no. And she says, please, just let me. Dom, he says, sorry, babe. She says, you told me we can hang. He says, no. She says, that makes me just want to come. Like, if you keep being a DICK, I'm just going to pull up. When did you start acting like a liar? It's been 4 days since I seen you and you're treating me like this. When are you going to realize this isn't how you treat your babe? He says, you haven't been treating me right either. She says, how? You've been lying to me for no reason, effing me over, ignoring me. Like, I've done everything but be hurt over how bad you've been treating me. I'm about to just wait in your car. And what do you want me to do? Just sit here and let you treat me like I'm some random bitch? And she says, Dom, text me back. I'm for real getting upset. He says, what do you mean wait in my car? Where? She says, I can just wait in your car and wait. Or I can just sit in your car and wait. And he says, and no, you be treating me bad. She says, how? If anything, it's the other way around. You ditched me 2 days in a row. I would never ditch you. But can I come? He says, yeah, you've been calling me a liar when I'm not. She says, I'll just take a nap in your car. OMG, when you tell me you're going to hang out with me, then you ditch me. That's lying, but I won't say anymore since it offends you. Just let me get a ride over and I will sit in your car and wait till you're ready to leave. He says, I'm not lying though, but whatever. She says, then it is what it is, Dom. What is it called when you tell me we're going to hang, then you just don't come and ignore me? Answer about coming to your car. He says, no, I tell you I'm not coming. She says, no, you don't. You wait till last second when I'm already ready. And last night you kept saying, I don't know. And he said, because you text so much. And she says, because you said you were supposed to hang out and you never came back. Why can't you admit you effed me over? I'm about to come to your car soon. He says, I'm about to leave. And no, I tell you that I'm not coming back. Last night you didn't, she says. Oh my God, are you really coming back? I'm for real excited now. He says, no, I'm just leaving, Kyle. Sorry, didn't mean to get your hopes up. He literally doesn't even want to see her. Trying to bribe him with Chick-fil-A. She burned those bridges. I saw clips of Davion's sister. Yeah, that Bubba kid was the most interesting interview. Yeah, I have that interview on the playlist. Make sure you check it out. Give the man a break for reals. This is the outcome of when you have really bad helicopter parenting, low self-esteem, you have not developed coping skills, emotionally stunted. I agree. Walking in Love says, I wish the girl he was hanging with would come forward and tell us her side. He was done with her. Definitely soulmates. I think his friends don't like her. His friends don't like her at all. At all. It sounds like she was in his room more often than he was. Would you guys want to do that all day long? Like, you would want to wait for your boyfriend and girlfriend and they don't even want to hang out with you and you guys are just going to go like wait, like in the room? That's just, it's sick. He says, no, I'm just leaving, Kyle. Sorry to get your hopes up. And she says, where are you going? WTF. He said, runs. She said, if you go to Carl's, we're going to have a serious issue. And he said, why? Mackenzie says, you know why, because then you'll be putting him before me. I get Kyle is before me, but not Carl. Yeah, we need to hear from Carl. Her and Carl have issues because she does not like Carl. Telling on a grown man is wild to me. His mom don't like you either, Kenzie. Right, Shug? His mom is like, get her out of here. She's obsessed. This is what's more than obsessed? Because I think this is like, she should go in the Guinness World Record book, like most obsessed psycho girlfriend. Nobody liked her. Nobody liked her. Not even us. You're putting him before me says it all. Exactly, just Jamie. Yo, if anyone is telling you don't go into that, imagine if your boyfriend was telling you like don't go into that channel, or like if someone was telling me like don't hang out with my friends, I'd be like, excuse me? She just this is crazy. She says, I get Kyle is before me, but not Carl. I am above Carl, she says. And he says, oh, okay. LOL. Dom is just like, I'm getting kensophobia. Oh my God, Mark, that is awesome. That is awesome. I like that. So she says, just bring me on your runs. Please, I'm so bored and lonely. He says, I'm already on the way. Or I'm already out the way. And she says, I feel so alone. He says, go chill with someone. I don't know. And she says, OMG, OMG, wait. OMD? I think she meant OMG. Dom. What the F is wrong with you? Why can't you come back and hang out with me? Why can you do everything else? Come back and hang with me. It shouldn't be that hard. Like you're acting like this breaks my heart. Answer. Answer right now. Answer right now. Answer right now. You effing know I have no one else. Like WTF. They were together for 4 years. Pathetic behavior. You know, these comments about her family really are like concerning to me, because in the jail calls, it seems like Natalie and her dad are like supportive of her and enable her and stuff. But then she's always like, I'm alone. I don't have no support. I hate my family. I hate being home. Definitely just an act, right? If anything, Dom is at peace now. R.I.P. Dom. Now she can learn what it's truly like to be alone. Shh. I don't care if she got girlfriends in the jail. Being in jail is nowhere near fun, ever, not even 1%. Like, she can try to pretend like she's making money in there. She's the kiosk queen. She has commissary money. Like, she is not having a good time. She can pretend all she wants. I guess she still has the trains. Sarah. This mom reminds me of Wade's girl, Jess. You know what? She should literally just marry Wade. So do you guys blame Mackenzie fully or Dom too, says Marina. I feel like I have to blame the parents. Sure, in a way, in a sense, I blame both of them, but I think they were so young, and their parents just continued to allow it for whatever reason, or maybe they didn't think it would be that serious, or maybe their own parents were too busy getting high. And that's fine, like to each their own. But I feel like their parents definitely lacked here, and they should be responsible for some of it. Now, can we hold them accountable for Mackenzie crashing her car into the building 100 miles per hour and killing them? No, but I think maybe they could have done a little more to have them not be together. I don't know. I don't know. So I know that, like, from my personal experience, when I was dating someone that my dad didn't like, and I was really close to my dad, and he was supporting me when I was still living in his house. Like, if I was like under 18 and still in high school, my dad would literally be like, okay, I'm taking your car. Like, I'm not going to support this. So I would be like, wait, no, I need my car. I need my phone. Like, I was under 18, not working. So for me, it was like, I almost kind of went with it. I'm like, well, I'm SOL, like, because I'm living under my dad's roof. So it's like I have to listen to him. Like, I can't date, the guy down the street selling a bunch of dabs. You know what I mean? So I feel like their parents definitely play a role in this. I don't know. Everyone grows up differently. Everyone has different experiences, and all of it is welcome. I'm not open or closed to shut off of any of it. I always like to hear different experiences, and I myself have been through a lot too, as you guys know. So it's almost, I don't know, it's difficult because I feel like they're to blame, but like Mackenzie and Dom, but I feel like they're kids. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, can you blame them? Their brains aren't even fully developed. Her dad tried to remember he took the steering wheel off her car. Yeah, but her dad also tried to smoke and was smoking with her and stuff, you know? I think it's different when you have parents that are doing stuff with you and then trying to enforce laws, or like, not laws, but like I call them home laws, like moral laws with your parents and stuff. And I feel like it's different, you know, if you have a parent who's like wanting to do that, or who's like, yeah, let's smoke weed, or smokes weed, and then compared to a parent who doesn't do any of that. Like my dad would be pissed if he saw me even smoking. And when the times that I did smoke, he wasn't happy about it. He sure as hell made it difficult for me to be doing things with my friends and going to prom and going to the football games and having money to go do this and that when I wasn't working. So it's like, it's hard for me to understand how this was allowed for so long. And I know the families didn't see these text messages until after the accident, because these texts are part of the evidence package. So it's like, how would they have known it was this bad? But I feel like they known it was this bad. So she says, you effing know I have no one else, like what the F? And she says, you waste my time way too much because you F me over every day. Why do you think I hate my life so much? Like I pray all the time, hoping you will stop treating me like shit, she says. Like you think I want to pray sometimes? It feels like the only option, and it still never works. It shouldn't be this hard to come hang out with me. I'm already at your house. All you have to do is come home. And he says, I can't read that. She says, read it, N-word. If you don't come back before I have to leave, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm rolling a backwood with my weed. I'm so mad. And he says, when do you have to leave? She says, I'm not telling you. You better be back soon. He says, did you roll the backwood good? She says, when are you going to be back? How are you doing runs when you never came back for any stuff? I find it hard to believe, she says. He says, Kyle's house. She says, Kyle is broke AF. He has like 3 carts. You're probably just chilling there. Come back soon. I swear to God. Bruh, WTF. And he says, what? And he says, okay, whatever. She says, Dom, I've been alone at your house for a really long time, and I'm still waiting for you to come hang out with me like you said you would last night. I haven't even been spamming you, and you still can't come back. Like every time I hear a car, I think it's you and I get excited. And he says, let me see what I got to do, and I'll let you know if I'm trying to slide home. And she says, I hate being treated like shit. You better come home soon. I'm done waiting for you, just for you to treat me like I'm nothing. Have no tears left to cry. He says, I'm not really, though. I mean, I let you stay at my house, and I'm chilling with my friends and doing runs. Mackenzie says, it's the fact that you never came back when you said you would. I can't just wait forever. Just come spend time with me. He says, just go do something, and we can chill when we're both free. She says, I am free, and I don't know why I keep having to tell you when you already know that I don't have any friends. 0 friends. He says, you def have some friends. She says, no, I don't. When are you coming back? I just rolled the wood. Come back right now? ? And he says, I can't, babe. She says, can you get me then? And bring me, please, babe. We can boon the rest of the wood. It will be fun. What does that mean? Boon. Like all I think of Boone is like Sarah Boone. She's trying to be his mom sometimes. A lot of drugs flying around. She obviously knew in her text with Mackenzie, said something about someone's trap name, and they're always smoking at Dom's house. Dad never seemed to follow through with discipline, also contradicted his own behavior. Natalie wasn't any better. That's good. Discipline. That's what they're lacking. Yeah. She got her way her whole life, and once she couldn't, she lost it. True. Same, Melly. My dad would freak if I smoked. Yeah, Amy. Shanta's like, so go home, Mackenzie. And then Mallory's like, oh my God, go the F home. Dude, okay, why didn't she think for 1 second that she could just leave and go hang out with her friends or another dude and then like get back at Dom? I know that's really toxic behavior, but I feel like if he's out hanging out with his friends, you go hang out with your friends. Like, go do something. I don't know. Do something. Smoke a wood wherever. I don't know. Like, get out of the house. Go do something and stop being so obsessed with Dom. Maybe he would have like wanted to hang out with you. Kenzie was in a relationship for 4 years. Dom was never in a real relationship with her. I agree, Shug. That's really good. Do they even make it anymore? I don't even really drink anymore. Make what? Because no one liked her. No one did like her. Okay, so he says, I don't know, I'll let you know. She says, think about it and let me know soon. She says, I'm bored out of my mind. And he says, okay. She says, can you? She says, can you, Dom? And he says, no, probably not. I got to do stuff. She says, Dom, please don't do this to me. Like, please, just bring me. I'm so bored. I don't want to be alone anymore. Please, just bring me, Dom, please. He says, Kenzie, you can do something. Read the book I gave you or something. She says, Dom, please just come. I've been alone for too long. The reason I came over was to hang out with you. Like, I want to see you. I miss you. And she sends a picture of, I think, food. Or he sends a picture of food. And he says, we can hang when I'm free. Think about what this dude said. He spit in facts. Oh, I thought it was food, but maybe it's not. Their lyrics, maybe? Can't tell. He says, think about what the dude say. He spit in facts. She says, Dom, you're going to be free at like 9. I don't really want to wait all day again. Please, just do this for me. He says, just do something. She says, it will make me so happy. I'm trying to do something. Dom, please come. Dom, please come. Please don't be like this again. And he said, stop being like this. And she says, Dom, I miss you. You're just making me wait to see you, and it's hard. If I go chill with Gabby, you will let me come back, and will you be back at a reasonable time? He says, Gabby and who? Should be chilling with Kate. And she says, I don't know who she with, but she asked me to hang, and I low-key don't want to be part of that group. But I'm so bored. He says, I mean, chill with them if you want. She says, I really don't want to. I want to chill with you. She says, can you just come get me or be here at 7? I have 2 cells anyways. Dom, answer fast, please. Like, you're already torturing me by not hanging out with me and ignoring me too. It's too much. He said, I thought you were hanging with Gabby. She says, I don't want to if Natalie is there. And I told you I don't really want to. Answer fast, Dom. Just get me. I have cells you can do. 2 people want bud. Can you please just come get me? It will be fun and it will make you more money. And maybe we can get Baskin Robbins after. Dom, don't leave me on red. Sad face. She emphasizes it. And there's wood left. He says, I'm talking to someone. Hold up. She says, okay, text me when you're done talking to them. Question mark, question mark. He says, okay, I will. She says, it's been like 10 minutes. He says, I know, we're talking a lot. She says, okay, text me when you're done. He says, okay, I got you. She said, LOL, question mark. It's been a while. So it was literally, he said, okay, I got you at 6:34 p.m. She says, LOL at 6:49. And then at 6:49, she says, it's been a while. She literally says it's been a while and it's been like 2 seconds. What? He's playing games. He doesn't want her to wait. He wants her to go away. Parents should have the comments, but parents should have been teaching her some basic self-worth. Yeah, and it goes into another conversation. Like, where did she learn this behavior and what were her parents teaching her? And is this how her mom acts? Is this how Natalie acts with her dad, Steve? Don't come for me. I'm just saying hypothetically, allegedly, just a thought, I don't know anything. He was asking for it after 4 years of blowing her off. Instead of why did he put up with her? Why did she put up with him? Both. Booting is countryside driving, Melly. Thank you, Rebecca. Countryside driving. Oh, so like just countryside driving and smoking? Okay. Not to you, Rebecca. I mean, like, okay, Mackenzie. Knowing she was unbalanced. You're making me feel old again here. What is wood? No, Celie. Someone made me feel old in the comments. They were like, Melly, didn't know what a dab was. And I'm like, back in the day, a wood is like a rolled up, it's like a blunt, right? Good question, Melly, about the parents. I mean, her dad is smoking all them woods, allegedly. Well, from what we've read, right? We're just reading what was in the package, the evidence package. Don't get mad at me, Steve Sharilla. Don't get mad at me. Okay, so she says it's been a while. How about you just come get me when you're done talking? He says, sorry, I just got done. And she says, it's fine. Can you come here now? I still have 2 cells, I think. She removes a question mark. She says, there's a lot of wood left. Dom, answer fast. Why are you ignoring me now? Really? Why did you just stop answering? Dom, please just stop. Dom, stop ignoring me. I really don't know why you're starting to ignore me out of nowhere. Like I'm just trying really hard not to flip out. This is really whack. I have to leave soon, she says. He says, I was driving. I'm sorry. She says, can you come? Please come get me. I will bring the backwood. Dom, please. He says, I'm 20 minutes away. When do you have to leave? She says, I've been chill AF. Can you just come and get me? My head is spinning. Please, Dom, just come. I can wait 20 minutes. Can you? He says, I can't just leave right now. When do you have to leave? She says, where are you? Why can't you just leave right now? Can you please get off D&D? She says, I'm trying so hard to stay chill. Like I can't be alone anymore. Why won't you tell me where you are though? And he says, I'm driving, doing my shit still. She says, just bring me. Come back here and get what you need. Then we can boon while you do runs. Please don't leave me here any longer. Like I've been trying so hard to stay chill so you will come and get me, please. Baskin Robin closes at 9, I think. And she removes an exclamation. She removes another exclamation. She says, Dom, answer fast, please. And he doesn't respond. And she says, your mom made good ass dinner. He says, can we just chill tomorrow? She says, no, we can't. We both know you're not going to come. If you do not come back for 1 hour, if you come back for 1 hour, we can hang tomorrow. Dom, answer me. You promise we can chill tomorrow if I let this slide? He says, yeah, or I'll probably be back later anyway. She says, can I bring the wood to smoke with you and Gabri? She says, just her, and she can drop me off here after. I can probably stay till 2. And also, I seen some pics from your baby book. So cute. I'm going to come back after I smoke with Gabri, then we can chill tonight and tomorrow. I'm leaving soon and leaving my bag at your house. I'll be back over later. He says, okay, what are you doing now? She says, I'm about to leave and smoke with her. She's on the way now. I ate so much dinner. LMAO. There's a surprise if you get back before me. Also, something is missing. Where the little ladybug circle thing. LMAO. And he questions it. He says, the thing on the llama? She says, it's not there. I'ma find it. Found it, LMAO. He says, LOL. And she says, I hope you're back before me so you see what I did. When are you about to come back? She said that at 9:19 p.m. and then at 10:03, she says, I'm back. So come back. Why you ignore? Stop ignoring me. He says, I'm not. She says, answer fast, LOL. Can you come back soon? I got back at like 9:45. He says, can we just hang tomorrow? She says, it's my mom's birthday. Can we hang tomorrow if you promise to hang with me all day tomorrow and let me come over early? Answer so I can dip. He says, today or tomorrow? She says, tomorrow. He says, but you should be with her. She says, you can come sing. I'm hanging with you tomorrow. Say you promise. He said, look, let's chill in the morning and you can do the birthday stuff later. She says, okay, bet. Get off D&D, please. Promise we can chill. Please actually get off D&D. I'm not going to text you a lot. I just don't want you to fall asleep with it on. Dom says, I like being on D&D though. She says, bypass me. And Dom says, I'll still see your call when I look at my phone. And she says, so you get my text, emergency bypass me. So everyone's on D&D but me. And he says, but I hate when I'm doing something and my phone keeps ringing. She says, I won't spam you. I burnt myself really bad. He says, I'll answer you. Good. She said, like my whole thumb is red. Promise we can hang tomorrow though. And he says, how did you do that? Yeah, we can. And she says, when I smoked with Gabriel, she dropped the roach on pass and it fell on my finger and burnt me so bad. He says, oh, that probably hurt. She said, like the weed fell everywhere and the leaf effed up my hand. What are you doing? He says, I'm with Kyle again, for real. She says, still no Kristen? What are y'all doing? And he says, yeah, there hasn't been. She says, text me when you're up. That was the next morning. And she says, Dom, babe. She says, babe, question mark, question mark. And he says, what's up? She says, can I come over, like right now? He says, yeah. She says, bet. He says, what time are you staying till? This is at 11:59 a.m. the next day. And she says, I don't know. I'm going to get ready, then come. He says, okay, come. And then he says, that was on March 31st at 11:59 a.m. And then he says, my blanket smells like Ken's. She says, aw, good. Did you see what I did? LOL. He says, the ladybug thing or the note. She says, LOL, both. And he says, LOL, what should I eat? French toast and sausage or sausage McMuffin? She said, French toast. What are you doing, babe? He said, I'm at home. Trevor was sleeping. She says, can I come back over? So she went over in the morning, then left, and now she's trying to go back over again. He says, you barely been there, babe. Why? She says, babe, we're done with the birthday shit. We sang in open presents. So can I? He says, I don't know, because Bartula's still trying to chill and Trevor been asleep since 5. She says, can I just come back, and when you want to go there, I can leave. LOL. Why does she want to be around where she's not wanted? I'm reading your guys' comments. I'm surprised she didn't bug his room. Why didn't his mom tell her to get the F out? Hey, hello. Shanta, she constantly thought of was getting to get people back for her for making her mad. What a psycho. Hey, girl dad. So dramatic. She's like, can I just come over to hang out and you're not even going to be there? You're going to leave? So you're going to hang out by yourself. Yeah, that's true, Mindy. She says, can I just come back and when you're there, I can leave? LOL. He says, it's not going to be very long. She says, it's okay. I don't really care. And he says, okay. She says, why that face? I can come. He says, oh, I thought you meant it's cool that you don't come. She said, and can I get my book bag? He says, Kenzie, we don't have any time to chill. She says, when are you going to chill with them? I don't really care about how much time we have. I don't know why you're being weird about it, LOL. And he says, I'm going to go chill with them right now, or I'm going to go chill with Ashish. Ashish is probably his friend. She says, oh, damn, at least we chill in tomorrow. If you end up having free time, text me. He says, my message would not send. She said, iMessage being really weird. He said, yours is too? She says, yeah, I thought you did something, LOL. Delivered isn't showing. He says, yeah, it's being effed. She says, what if the government shut down iMessage? Why is Mackenzie so dumb? Not the president and the government shutting down iMessage. She says, what if the government shuts down iMessage? And he says, what if they're trying to F over our phone service so we have to use Wi-Fi so then we can all stay home? And she says, WTF? I think they already F'd our Wi-Fi and shit. And he says, LOL. He says, mine is being better now. And she says, literally same. Weird AF. He says, when can you chill till 12? She says 2 a.m. probably. So her curfew is just 2 a.m. or what? That's crazy. The parents let them do whatever. Yeah, I mean, Mackenzie's parents let her do whatever, and so did Dom's. I mean, I'm not here to victim blame or anything, but like, I'm sorry, but Miss Russo and all of them knew he was dealing and selling, doing runs. How else was he getting money? He didn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? So I hate to say this, and I guess I'll play the bad guy, but Miss Russo was just kind of just like Natalie Shirilla, allowing this. Pandemic curfew, 2 a.m. That's crazy. My little ass would be kicked if I came home at 2 a.m. Hoochie mama hour, says girl dad. Well, now if we're going to talk about what she was doing, selling her kitty and stuff, thinking about how good rug running must have been in those days. It was different. She didn't live there. She moved her shit in uninvited. That's also true, Dom. Diane says, I think someone told her something about Dom at that last party. She then confronted and got super angry and smashed into the building on purpose to punish him. What if Dom was like, I'm done with you. Like, I never want to see you again. This is it. And she was like, nope. If I can't have him, no one else is gonna. Was she selling her pictures and doing prostitution? She was selling like promiscuous pictures on Snapchat and stuff and videoing. She was. We talked about it. I think it was like the very first deep dive I did on her. Not the one from last year, but I think before we started the text messages. Yeah, on Snapchat. Exactly. Emily. 2.5K for hookups. Dang. Do you think Dom cheated or is it on her head? I think Dom was cheating. I do. I told you guys that. I think in the last slide. I really think he was just like over it. And I think maybe he did stay with her, maybe because she did help him sell rugs. But I think he was interested in other girls. If not, maybe other girls were around. Maybe when he was hanging out with Carl and his friends, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the guys will bring the girls and kind of that kind of thing. Yep, 2,500 for anything. For anything. Dom was cheating on Cray Kenzie. Okay, so she says, I can stay till 2 a.m. probably. He says, okay, maybe I won't chill with Angelo and Ashish that long and you can come chill. Okay, so this is when he starts doing like the whole back and forth. So he's like, maybe you can come chill. And she says, actually, nah, Topher's doing this weird shit. I'm gonna go to Ashish. She says, LMAO. Sorry, babe. If you want to hang with me, just hit me up. And he says, okay. And he says, what are you doing now at 9:41 p.m.? And she says, just chilling. What about you, babe? And he says, no, not much. I was chilling with Angela waiting for Smeesh. She says, what are y'all doing? The backwood earlier low-key got my throat feeling weird. And he says, I was okay, but yeah, the ash wasn't totally white. She says, yeah, I'm trying to drink hella water so my throat feels better. LOL. What are you guys about to do later? He says, gargle salt water. And she says, oh my God, I hate salt water. LMAO. He says, don't put a lot in it. And she says, I for real gag. He says, throw some mouthwash in with salt. And she says, LMAO, so salt, mouthwash, and water? He says, a little bit of salt, splash of mouthwash, then warm water. And he says, yes. She says, LMAO, I'll try. He says, I mean, why not? It won't be salty. It'd be minty. Just don't swallow none of that shit. She says, I'm getting everything together right now. He says, getting what? And she says, the salt, mouthwash, and water. I'm so dumb. I'm peeing right now and totally forgot I'm wearing just a panty liner, bruh. What? Dom's like, I don't know what that is. How did the mouthwash work? She says, still hurts, but it's better. I low-key effed up my cute-ass underwear. He said, that's tough. Wash them. She says, LMAO, they still gonna stain. Wait, what is she talking about? Huh? Hold the phone. Hold the telefono. What? I'm sorry. Are we dreaming here? Like, I feel like, is this really on a live? Hello? Anyone there? Knocking on the mic. Are you guys really there? She started her period. I don't know. But it's weird. I just think it's weird that she's just saying this to Dom when he doesn't want anything to do with. Sarah says gross. I think she makes that up about her family just to get attention. She's on the Oh my God. Rotten from the inside out. Stop being funny. Okay, so she says, LMAO, they still gonna stain. She says, what you guys doing now? He says, I'm gonna be by myself now. We can chill for a little if you want. She says, like, chill now? And he says, sure. She says, bet, I'm gonna come now. Good night, babe. Wait. She says, bet, I'm gonna come now at 10:26 p.m. So she goes and sees him, and then she goes back home and she says, good night, babe, at 2:13 a.m. And he says, good night. So Mackenzie's going over there at midnight and then leaving at like 2 a.m. What is that, like a booty call? Is that like a 2 a.m. booty call? Kiss at your own risk. Ew. I've never heard so many LOL and LMAO. That's funny. Okay, so she says, good night, baby. He says, good night. So then at 8:31 a.m., she says, hit me up when you're up. Why you leave me on red, babe? LOL. I hope you're just in the shower or something. He says, I just got up. She says, oh, I was confused about it because you left me on red. He says, I don't know. I probably opened my phone or something while I was asleep. I woke up for like a couple minutes, then went back to bed. And she says, LMAO, it's okay. It's okay. Want to hang in like 30 minutes? And she says, so you have time to wake up and shit? And he says, I need more time than that. And she says, one? He says, let me do some of my productive shit I haven't done in a couple days, then I'll hit your line. She says, okay, bet. Are we going to go to Baskin Robbins today though? LMAO. And he says, okay. She says, what are you doing? And he says, running somewhere with Smeesh. And she says, that sounds fun. I'm watching Shameless and Cleaning, LOL. And Dom says, that sounds pretty chill. She says, low-key bored. When you think you're going to be done? I want to go to Baskin Robbins before it's closed. And he says, when it's closed, I'm chilling with Angelo right now. Ashish just left. And she says, can we hang in 30 minutes? She says, I'll look right now. She says, the website hours say unknown because of the pandemic. And he says, do you think it's closed? You just want to make a cake and ice cream? And she said, LOL, sure. He said, for Ashish's birthday? She said, is it really his birthday or another fake one? And he said, yeah, it is. She says, oh shit, really? And he says, he has to leave 2 to 3 hours, but he's going to come back. So I think we got to make it. And she says, oh, okay. Can I come over now or soon? And she says, babe. And she says, question. And he says, yeah, come over. She says, okay, I'm on the way. So that was on April 1st at 4:23 p.m. And then at 5:46, she says, I'm mad AF. Shake my effing head. And he says, why? She says, what do you mean why? Because you invite me to hang over and say you want to make a cake instead of go to Baskin Robbins, then you just play basketball. Like, it's cold. You think I want to be out there when I can't feel my effing hands? And I asked you like 20 times to do something else. And Dom says, what do you want to do? And she said, my mom just made the cake. And Mackenzie says, we can literally do anything you want, just not be outside. Like, I'm getting salty AF. He says, why would you just want to be inside when you can be outside? She says, I said it's cold like 300 times. If I'm shaking when I go outside, it's not nice out. Like, WTF, come into the house. And she says, I'm bored, for real. He says, what time do you got to be home? She says, why? And he says, because we could just leave sooner and go to my house. And then I go back to Kyle's when you leave. And she says, oh, 2, are you going to drink? And he says, when? She says, I don't want to be around AJ low key. Why are you drinking? I don't want to hit the wood now because AJ hit it. And he says, LOL. And she says, contaminated. Can we leave? He says, it's just a sip of tea. And she says, bring the wood. He says, no. He says, not right now. She says, why? He says, can we stay till 12, then I drop you off? And she says, drop me off where? Question mark, question mark. And he says, your house. I want to chill with Angelo and Smeesh. And she says, I can't be there. And he says, all of them there. And she says, and we didn't even get to chill alone at all today. She says, yeah, that's true. And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a big deal. And she says, I mean, I don't know, sometimes with you, I'd like some time with you to just chill and have fun, just me and you. It's whatever. And he says, I'm sorry, next time we chill, I'll make sure we're alone for a little. She says, tomorrow after my nail appointment, then go to Baskin Robbins. Can you send me your mom's number? I don't know where the nail place is at. And he says, are you still up? And she says, I am now. So this is the next day. So she says, can you send me at midnight your mom's number? And then the next morning at 9:03 a.m., he says, are you still up? And she says, I am now. She says, babe, if you're up, can you make sure I get the address to the nail place? I texted your mom, but she didn't answer, but I think there's a green Post-it note with the Addy. Why did you make it so I can see if you're active? So I can't see if you're active. And she says, you need to answer right now so I know where I'm going. And he says, I was sleeping. I'm up now, though. And she says, your mom texted back. But yeah, why did you turn off that active thing? And how was last night? And Dom sends a screenshot of the address. And he says, for you, GOMD. I don't know what that means. And Mackenzie says, LMAO. Oh, GOMD means get off my DICK, right? LMAO. That's what Mackenzie said. And Dom says, yeah. Okay, so Melly learned something. GOMD means get off my DICK. Shook. Ruh-roh. Oh, looky who decided to show up. Bet I'm late. Oh, Kim is late. I scooped up. I'm late. I'll scoop. I'll still scoop you all. Control freak. So control. Bet. Okay, so GOMD. Okay, so now we know what that means. So he says, yeah. And she says, well, how was last night? And he says, kicked it for a little, then crashed. She says, I'm biting my nails off. Babe, Insta. I'm not able to get Burberry. I might have to get pink. And he says, okay, get that. She says, you sure? And she says, Insta. Help me, please. French tip again? Question French tip. And he says, sure. Okay, she literally has issues. She doesn't even know what color of nails to get, and she's going with what Dom says. Like, she can't even make up her own mind about her nails. That bet so bad, it's giving me heartburn. Hey, hello. So he says, sure. And she says, okay. Oh, and then she sends a picture of nails. Her nails? And then she says, and he says, those are dope. And he says, those are dope. And she says, get that or black French tip? Dom? And she questions it. And she says, please answer. And he says, yeah. She says, what one? LOL. And he says, what do you mean? Which one? And she says, I'll just talk to you later. She says, let's get Baskin after my appointment. She says, Dom? He says, can I chill with Kyle at 5? She says, you're going to be there all night. Then we have no time to hang, and you said we would chill today, just me and you. And he says, I always say probably. Here's the thing, though, is Kristen has to work, so just me and Kyle can chill. And he says, or you can chill with me till 5. She says, that's cool. After my appointment, I'm coming over then. He says, okay, then leave at like 5 or 5:30. And she says, yeah, LOL, bet. He says, because that's not a lot of time. She says, I'm going to come soon. On my way. From Brunswick, though. I thought it was just going to be me and you. He says, sorry, Jimbo went to Blair's house, so Blair brought him back. And Mackenzie says, how? Yesterday, you said it would just be me and you chilling today. When you're around your friends, you don't give me hugs or kissies. Like, I only have 1 hour with you today. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And Dom says, I told you what happened. Mackenzie says, he can leave. He can say you have runs and then just hang with me alone. He said, no. She says, just don't forget to text me if you dip Kyle's. Sorry for being annoying. I just really wanted alone time with you. And Dom says, I accept your apology. And he says, Kyle just stopped answering. So did my dude. And Mackenzie says, thanks, babe. And WTF? That's so annoying. Bruh, I'm watching Shameless and Debbie Preg. And then she says, yo, text back, babe. Do you think you're going to be free? She questions it. And then she says, babe, you said you wouldn't ignore me. And he says, I was driving, my bad. She says, it's okay, babe. Do you think you will be free soon? Dom, you said you wouldn't ignore me. Oh my God. She's so damn annoying. I'm like, I swear. She says that one with kissy. Yeah, kissies. You get 3 kissies. Mom says kissy again with her. He just wants to F. Well, you lied to me. You lie. Well, Kenzie, at least he doesn't lie down with strangers like you did. Oh, dang. Mark coming for Kenzie. And then she says, do you think you will be free soon? And he says, my bad. We going to hell. And then she says, N-word, without me? Wow. She says, whatever. He says, no, not hell, the other hell. Okay, whatever. I don't care, he said. And then Mackenzie says, you should care. That's the type of shit that makes me so upset after you didn't want to do anything with me today. Then when I dip, you in the mood for anything. So I'm guessing you're not coming back tonight. And he says, no, I'm not. And she says, can we do Baskin-Robbins tomorrow then? And she says, get off D&D too, please. Babe? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm just going to go to bed probably. Have fun, baby. We can just do Baskin tomorrow. Good night. And he says, okay. She says, say good night, babe. Oh my God. If you guys don't text me or comment me good night every single day, I'm going to be pissed. Her mom is crazy to put up with this behavior. Even Dom's mom knew she was, yeah. There's actually no Benny Jai in between Brunswick and Scoopsville. It's all suburb. She's relentless. Parents probably gave her everything to avoid her toxic behavior. I don't know. So she says, I really would like to know what her parents were thinking amidst all of this, prior to the crash, during the crash, and now, 2025. They obviously still think she's innocent. Imagine you coming home and she's just sitting on your bed. That's like a true scary moment. I would scream. She's a psycho-emotional vampire. Mark says, if you don't stream 24/7, we're going to be pissed. So don't be mad. So Mackenzie says, say goodnight, okay? And send kissy. Oh, she says, send kissy. Fatal attraction. This is exhausting. I wonder if she was bored with no one to text after she killed him. Oof. That's a good question. She says, send kissy. He says, good night. She says, nice reply. I can't sleep. I'm going to freak out. I hate my nails so much. Like they effing her and they're ugly AF. Whoa. And then she says, text me when you're up. He says, they can't be that bad. And she says, I don't know. I'm stressed. Want to go to Baskin at 1? Please, babe. All my nails crooked and they hurt bad AF. Dom, answer. Please answer right now. And he says, I'm sleeping. This is on April 3rd, 11:55 a.m. And she says, I don't know. I didn't know. I thought you were up. When you're up, let me come over. Then we can hang and go to Baskin-Robbins. And she says, are you still sleeping? Are you still at Kyle's, right? Text back, question mark. Let's go to Baskin. Are you ignoring me? I got food today and passed your house and seeing your car. She said, Dom, sad face. And she says, let me fed up and do stuff, then I got you again. Oh, let me get up and do stuff, then I got you. She says, can you bring me today? Smiley. How was last night though? And he says, no, sorry. She says, it's okay. I need your opinion though. Can you FaceTime me real quick? Babe? And he says, on what? And she says, can we hang soon? I really want to get Baskin Robbins before it's too late. Babe? Text me back. Dom, baby? And she emphasizes it. You keep saying you want to ignore me, then you just don't answer me. You decline and then you don't text me back. Like, it's getting late. And you just go on D&D. And he says, I'm sorry, I'm doing shit. And she says, Dom, that doesn't mean go on D&D and you ignore me. And she says, like, it's going to be too late for ice cream soon. Dude, Mackenzie, I'm sorry. Can she not go get ice cream by herself? Go get ice cream with your mom. I don't know. Figure it the hell out. She reminds me of my ex. Oh, Hidden, I'm sorry. Why is she terrified to make a single decision on her own? Yeah, no, she can't do her nails. She can't go get ice cream. She doesn't know what to eat. Her underwear, like, ugh. Seriously, like, can I breathe? Jeez. Okay, so she says, come get me. He says, she says, you're still on D&D and we're supposed to get ice cream together for like 40 days. She says, and I thought you were done doing runs because of Corona. Like, I know you said you're on your phone answering snaps. Like you said, after you get up and do stuff, I'm just waiting. Bye. I have the feeling you're just going to bail on me and it's already almost too late for ice cream. And she says, like, it's been time to chill. And then she sends a blank text. And then she says, I'm for real about to freak out. And then she says, I don't want to just wait here and have you ignore me all day and then come back obviously too late. She says, stop ignoring me. Like, it's time to hang. She removes an exclamation. And she says, this is GAYAF. Like, I've had a surprise for you for days. This shit makes me way too upset. Ignoring me is not the way to go. Wow, she says. And he says, I'm going to be home soon. And she says, how soon is soon? Like 10 minutes? I will be ready. And she sends 10 question marks. And then he says, I'm about to be home soon. She says, you already said that. How soon is soon? You literally said you're going to be home soon, Dom. How soon is soon? And then she Googled something. And then he says, I just got home. And she says, can I come over? And he says, 5 minutes. And she says, LMAO, come. He says, no, not right now. She says, Dom? And he says, what? She says, we were supposed to go get ice cream today. Like, it's getting late. Let me come over now. I've been waiting and you told me you're going to be home soon. Like, I thought I was coming over when you're home, like you said I could. Let me get up and do stuff. Then I got you. So she copied and pasted his own message. And then she said, you got up and did your shit. It's time to hang. She emphasizes it. And then she says, answer right now. And she says, WTF. Don't say that, then not answer. And then she said, you said you will be home soon. I was like, oh, bet. I got ready. And now it's time for me to come hang. Like, question mark, question mark. When you do this, you for real stress me out. Too much, like I'm hot and I'm biting my nails. And he says, okay, you can come. And she says, on my way. So she ends up going over. That was on 4/3 at 6:28 p.m. And then the next morning she says, good morning, baby. Text me when you're up. He says, I'm up. She says, want to go to explore today after you do some stuff? And he said, I'm going to go hoop with Thomas. And she said, when? He says, I don't know. I'm trying to soon. They're trying to by 4. She says, so we're not chilling today? He says, I don't know. She said, we should go exploring. He says, okay, after I hoop. Depends on what I'm doing. And she says, okay, bet. She says, is it nice out? And he said, that's not a for sure. It's really hot today. She says, oh my God, really? Like shorts? He says, I was wearing no shirt, but you'll probably be cold. She says, LMAO, probably. She says, I'm going to hang with Gabri until you're ready. And she says, also, don't ignore me today, or at least try not to ignore me. And he says, okay, but I'm not going to be ready for sure, remember? And she says, you try for me, babe. For real. For 3 seconds, LOL. And then she says, I need outfit advice. Oh my God. Now she's coming to him for outfit advice. Why doesn't she go outside and see for herself? Why doesn't she touch the grass? Damn it. Now I have my kitchen. I got to go get some ice cream. I do love me some Baskin. Why would he be with her? He has to take time to reply. She doesn't take that into account, that she prolongs things. Damn if he does, and damned if he doesn't. Why is it always the cute ones? No. Cute? I don't know. Rebecca said she'd kill the grass. Okay, so she says, I need outfit advice. And he says, I'm hooping. I don't got time for that shit. Just kidding. He said, I'm hooping. I included the other part, but he was probably thinking it. So he's like, I'm hooping. And she's like, okay, never mind. What are you doing? Babe, when are you going to be done? I'm really annoyed right now. And he said, why is that? Because of that other shit? And she says, babe, I already told you. Yeah. I just want to be outside. And Dom says, okay, well, I don't know if you text or call me first. Go chill at the lake. And she says, LMAO, I don't want to be there alone. He says, true. She says, I would go. He says, I used to go there alone and eat gummy bears. And she says, I don't want that lady recording me. She has a camera facing the ledge. And she says, I wish I had gummy bears. And he says, gummy worms would slap way harder. And she says, what kind? Like the sour ones? And he says, yeah. And she says, those smack. I'm for real so bored and alone and annoyed. Like I want to go exploring and shit, but Gabby is not answering. And he says, yeah. And she says, when you're done hooping, explore with me. Please take me somewhere fun. Baby, sad face. And he says, maybe. And she says, babe, please. It's about to get cold soon, too. I'm dead AF. Even after you send that random guy that pic, he's still trying to hit me up. She says, babe, can we please hang now? He says, I'm doing shit. She says, Scoop, you told me you were done doing sales. Scoop me when you're done with your sales. Okay, babe? Dom? And he says, I'm smoking with Trevor and Dom. And she says, after you smoke with them, can you scoop me? Then we can go exploring. And she says, or just chill too. He says, I'm hooping with Thomas and them. She says, you were already with him though. Can I come hoop with you guys? I really want to be outside. Please, babe. Dom? And he says, no, I wasn't. She says, can I come hoop after I shave my legs? Please, babe? And he says, no simpin' 2020. What? And she says, not funny. And she says, you better simp for me. So after I shave, I can come? And he says, no, babe. She says, whatever, Dom. Then I can just come over early tomorrow since you had a whole entire day to hang out with your dude friends. He says, I don't know. She says, I think we should, or you can sleep over here or leave me on red. He says, it must have been on accident. And she says, well, are you going to answer? He says, yeah. You think we should what? She says, do you want to sleep over tonight? I think we should hang tomorrow. Text me when you're up, she says the next morning. Wow. So she's like 15 years old and her parents are letting her boyfriend sleep over. Where I come from, scoop means pick up the dog poop in your yard. Yeah, Kim, generally. Dom comes home. What are the day exploring? She's a joke trying to be cool. Are these a day text day after? Yeah. Everyone loves Mackenzie. Laughing face. She's so much no person will ever be able to deal with her and all her shit. I know she's still young, but damn. Mackenzie the explorer. Okay, so she says, text me when you're up. This is on April 5th, 2020 at 11:18 a.m. And then she says, we got to hang today. And she says, babe. He says, what's up? And she says, let's hang in like an hour or now, babe. And he says, I'm doing something important. And she says, what are you doing? after, babe? Please, let's hang after. She questions it. And she says, LMAO, you take so long to reply. And he says, probably, I'll show you later. It's really dope. She says, oh, okay. I look really cute today. You're going to like. Why you leave me on red? And when are you going to be done? And he says, that was by accident. I'd be driving. She says, babe, pick me up. Let's hang now. I don't want to be here all day again. Come, babe. He says, maybe later, babe. And she says, you said we can probably hang after you do the important thing. And obviously you're done because you're driving now. And you told me you were done doing sales. And he says, I drove there. I'm bought. Chill the F out. You making me not want to chill with you. And she says, I'm chilling. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be a bitch. He says, don't just start calling me out assuming. She says, well, you said we can probably chill after. Are you still doing it? She says, can you come before 6, please? Or like now? Like we talked about chilling last night. And he says, chill. I just got home. She says, I'm chill, babe. Can I come over? And he says, not right now. She says, how about in 30 minutes? I want to come over soon. At 5? He says, I'll let you know. It'll be pretty soon. And she says, okay, yay. I look really cute, like for real. He says, LOL. She says, LOL, just don't ignore me. And are you scooping or you want me to get a ride? He says, I don't know. I'll let you know. She says, hit me up in 30 minutes. And then that was at 4:43 p.m. And then at 5:15, she says, now? Was that even 30 minutes? Dude, she's like right on the spot. Wait, 4:43? Oh my gosh, literally 17 minutes later. Did I do the math right? No, wait, Melly, do you know how to do math? No, 32 minutes later. And then he says, I'm watching basketball with Angelo. She says, can I watch with you guys? Please, LOL. He says, I don't know. She says, please, you said soon. Just let me come, babe. It's been soon for a while. Just let me come. And he says, I said no. And she says, you said, I don't know. And then Dom says, Angelo is leaving soon. She said, and you said we can hang soon. So then we can hang. Dom says, sure. And she says, when he leaves, how soon is he leaving? Dom, you left me on red. And he says, it was by accident. She says, oh, okay. Can I come at 6? He says, I'm about to shower. She says, I can just come. Can I come and wait for you? Babe, I guess that means I have to wait another 30 minutes. After you get out the shower, tell me ASAP. He says, I never got in. She says, can I come now? It's been way more than soon. LOL. She says, just let me come and I'll chill while you shower. He says, I'm kidding. I just got out of the shower. I'm a smoke with Bernie. Right? And he's smoke with Bernie real quick. He's down in the dumps. And Mackenzie says, can I please come and smoke with you guys? Dom, I've been ready and waiting. When you say soon, that means 5 to 10 minutes, not 2 hours. Just let me come smoke with you guys. And he says, soon for me is 2 hours. Oh my God, she's hard work. I'll be in your car. She's like, I'm waiting out by the trash dump. Where the hell did you get that? This was love of Kenzie's life and soulmate. Your daughter lied. This was a nightmare. Justice, yeah. So he says, soon for me is like 2 hours. She says, please, Dom, not funny. Let me come now. And she says, you make me wait too long. Like soon isn't 2 hours. I'm for real starting to get stressed. Dom, you said after Angelo leaves, I can come. And now you're done watching basketball. Now let me come. Okay, fine, you can come, he says. Okay, on my way. So she ends up going over there. And that's at 6:41 p.m. And then she says, but turn off my lights when you get here. Like to my car. And she says, what? Your car light is on? He says, yeah, I forgot it. It's on. And she says, okay, I got you. Sad face. At 7:45 p.m., she sends that. And then he says the next day at 2:34 p.m., he says, hey, what are you doing? And she says, just chilling outside. It's really nice. What about you? And he says, smoking a wood. She says, I hit the bong and got so fired. It was overwhelming. She says, wait, I hit the bong and got so fired. It was overwhelming. He says, third time you've been fired now? She said, wait, I mean fried. LMAO, I only been fired one time. What are you doing today? She says, soon, ? Dom, text me back. She emphasizes it. And he says, I've been just shooting around all day. She says, can I come hang? He says, not right now, but yeah. And she says, okay, bet. Is it still nice out? Hang soon or now? And he says, we probably can soon. She says, okay, in like 30 minutes soon? LOL. And she says, now? And she says, soon isn't more than an hour, Dom. A sad face. I thought you meant like 30 minutes or less. Babe? She removes a ? I don't know, said Dom. She says, let me come soon. Like now. You said soon, Dom. LOL. Dom, answer the phone. Just let me come now. You said soon an hour ago. She questions it. And he said, I don't know. I'm tired now. She says, Dom, you said I can come. Let me come. I'll leave at 12. I don't care what we do. We can just chill. And he says, I'm tired though. And she says, please, we can sleep then. Just let me come, Dom. You just can't say yes and leave me here when I thought I was coming over later. He says, I'm tired. She says, Dom, you said that 13 times. Let me come over. We don't have to do anything. I can just sit with you and you can go to sleep. So you're also just going to let the call ring when you answered me 1 minute ago? I don't get it. And he doesn't respond. And she says, I try so hard to keep my cool when you do shit like this. You really don't know how mad I get when you tell me we can hang later. And then you just give me the time you said I can have with you to someone else. That's pretty much every day. She said, I'm so annoyed. Thanks. He says, no, I'm alone. You can come. I'm really tired though. She says, on my way and you can sleep. It's all good. And he says, okay. She says, I'm coming. ? He says, what? I'm in the kitchen. She says, you said you were getting the wood. And then she sent a picture of something. And she says, Boston West 130th Street. FaceTime me real quick if you're awake. He says, I am. What's good? She says, I want to show you something. Babe, come to your room. And he says, why, babe? Come out here. She says, I'm charging my phone and I'm really high. Where you at? He says, okay, I'll come soon. Let me get a snack real quick. She says, okay. She says, thanks, babe. I woke up super fried and ate so much, she says. Dom says, what, like right now? She says, like an hour ago. He says, I just woke up at 5 and ate another edible. She says, I'm not high anymore, but you could see the high in my face. LMAO. Of course you did. What one? He says, the chocolate. She says, those are so good. It's nice out. He says, not really. You want to help me do a couple drops? And she says, yeah, when? He says, right now, if you want to hit the backwood. She said, yes. Want me to get a ride? He said, yeah, I'm about to spark the little one from last night. She says, okay. On my way in 3 seconds. Don't take a long time. You've been in there a while. ? He says, okay. She says, come, Dom. I'm really bored. He says, just give me a little longer. He says, I don't even think it's been 20 minutes. She says, sideways face. Babe, I just figured out Megan's been lying to me. He says, how? She says, she told me she can't hang with anyone during this. And Dom said, and what? She's hanging with people? And Mackenzie says, yep, I'm so done with everyone. And Dom said, she's probably snuck out or something. Mackenzie says, I don't know. She doesn't do that shit. Dom says, if she can't hang out with anyone, she probably does do that shit now. And Mackenzie says, oh, I don't know. That shit is GAY. Like, even if she is sneaking out, she can sneak out for me. And Dom says, how do you know? Mackenzie says, like, she went all the way to Carl's. I seen Joey's story. And Dom says, oh, that's different. She's trying to hang out with dudes, says Dom. If I was 15 to 16, I ain't sneaking out to hang out with my dudes. I want to see some girls. But he calls them bitches. And he says, I'm right though. And she says, no, I'm going to block Megan. He says, that's unnecessary. She says, lying is unnecessary. Do you want to hang out like now or some shit? I'm so annoyed. And he says, not right now. And she says, what are you doing? And he says, chilling, doing nothing pretty much. You want to make hella cake pops? She says, I was for real going to ask you that. We should make hella cake pops today. He said, should we make brownie cake pops? She said, how would that work? He said, and then do the same thing. But like the brownies cook different. The cake, she said, we can try, LOL. He says, it'd probably still work. She says, okay, want to hang in like 5? He says, I don't know, probably a little later. She says, like, we can go to the store now and get the stuff, then we can start now. He says, yeah, I don't really feel like it. Okay, so why is he saying like lying is unnecessary, says the person who lies? Why does he do that? It just bugs me that he's like, yeah, let's do this. And then he's like, oh, not right now. Like, get a clue, Kenzie, she hates you. Yeah, same script, but different day. Oh, thanks, Kristen. Yeah, the dynamic with these two was so bad. It exhausts me because he's like, yeah, let's do cake pops. And then he's like, never mind. He does it to shut her up, says Kim. So then Dom says, yeah, I really don't feel like it. And then she says, okay, LOL, can we at least hang in 30 minutes? And she says, or even now we can just kick it until we start doing cake pop shit. He says, let's just hang a little later. Let me go chill with Carl and AJ. She says, tell me a time. When are you going to be home? FaceTime me. And he says, why? She says, I need your opinion. My mom got Giorgio's pizza. Babe, what are you doing? Why do you keep declining and not answering me? He says, I'm reading. She says, okay, when you're done reading, can I come over? Babe, can I come over now? He says, not now. She says, when? She says, I'm really bored. At 6, please no later than 6. She says, Dom, now? And she says, are you on D&D? Like, there's no reason to be on D&D. And then she says, thanks for tricking me again. No response. And she says, next time you tell me we're going to do something fun, make sure we actually do it. I'm sick of getting excited just for you to tell me you don't want to. And he says, what do you mean? She says, and he says, actually, never mind. I don't want to know. And she says, you are here telling me you're going to make a ton of cake pops. I get excited. Then 2 hours later, you tell me no, you just don't want to and act like I'm supposed to be totally fine with you saying no after I've been excited to do that all day. Do you know what I just thought of? Remember when you told me so long ago that you got herpes to get rid of me? And he said, LOL, that was a joke. She said, oh, that was so long ago. I remember being like, it's okay. I just wasted a cute outfit today too. Can you answer the phone right now? Like right now? Dom, answer right now. She says, you make this shit so hard. Like I'm trying to effing call you because some effing shit happened and then you just sit there and ignore me. Why are you on D&D? Like if you think that helps with anything, you're slow. I'm for real mad. Call me right now. And he says, no, you can just text me. She says, Dom, I'm about to freak out. And she says, it's not even about you. He says, okay, then. She says, I can't believe you said that. You're for real mean as F when you text me. I asked you to call me because I need help and you're being an a-hole. If you don't call me, there's going to be an issue. I shouldn't have to effing say that you should call me because you care, but looks like you in the I'm a BADICK to Kenzie mood. And she says, answer. Like when you leave me on red when I'm telling you I need to talk to you. If you keep ignoring me and being mean, I'm just going to walk to your house. And he says, I'm not. She says, you are. You literally are. He says, no, I'm not. And she says, I'm asking you to call me and you're not. and you're on D&D for no reason. If you're being a DICK, I'm going to be crazy. So if you don't want me to be crazy, then don't be an effing DICK. And you still haven't called. I'm for real about to. I'm done. This is why I hate my life. Thanks so much, Dom. He says, we were on the phone. She says, you never called. Why are you not calling? It's literally unbelievable how you still haven't called me yet. Like, you really want me to just walk to your house? If you don't call, I'm going to blow the F up. I get how it is. Next time I need you, I'll just not ask because we both know you're going to ignore me and not be there. You the most dry ass replier ever. Stop being dry. And you're going to make this up to me, even to me if you even can. Effing DICK. Why is it so hard for you to be there for me anytime I ask? You're not allowed to sell Maddie anything anymore, and you need to unfollow her on everything. You're not allowed to be cool with her. And you're going to make this up to me. Only FAGS treats their girl like shit, by the way. He says, I'm not trying to do this. I'm literally just chilling. She says, yeah, you can probably find a way to make it up to me. And he says, what? She says, you can make it up to me. How about you start by not ignoring me? I don't know why it's hard for you. He says, sometimes I just be like doing stuff, you know? She says, no, I don't know. Wait, so why didn't she want him to hang out with Maddie? When she broke that bong, that was just a plot to ensnare him, to force into chatting. She did that all the time. Yeah, she doesn't know how to live without him. How far did they live from each other? Walking distance. It's terrifying. What the F? The pot calling the kettle black. I know. This is every day. She's not get tired of trying to contact him and demand immediate responses over and over. It's so bad. Is this the same Maddie who got the titty tattoo? Dom? Yes. Yes, Shanta. I'm wondering, was Dom flirty with Maddie? Mayala's mom says he's constantly leading her on. What she did was cray-cray, but I can see where a girl with mental problems would spiral being played like this. Yes, Mayala's mom. I also can see that. I could see how this can send someone over the edge who's either bipolar or has like some kind of like mood disorder or just like very much issues, like self-confidence issues and stuff. MS mom says she has to drive past the Russo home daily. Ooh. Sadly, Mackenzie's sister will probably never get the attention. Yeah. Okay, so she says, no, I don't know. She says, and that stuff isn't a normal thing. How about next time someone tells you they need to talk to you, you answer. She said, you can just make it up to me because I know you won't say sorry. Still ignoring me? Dope. And he says, sorry, I was eating. She says, text me when you're up the next morning. And she sends a screenshot of something. And then she says, nice. You still ignoring me? Honestly, WTF. She says, I'm for real mad. I don't know why the F you do shit like this. It's so childish. I can see how he's contributing, but her craziness is not his fault. No, it's not his fault. No. Her brain never fully developed, can thank her parents for that. They should be held accountable. What is D&D? D&D is do not disturb on your phone. He's as crazy as she is. I kind of agree a little bit with that, even though I think she was more, I think she was just more like crazy. I blame a lot of this on her parents. Yeah, I do too, Kim. I don't care what Dom said. He didn't deserve to be murdered. That's true, Mark. He literally had to hate her after 4 years, though. The drug stuff didn't help this one either. No, it didn't. Okay, so she says, I'm for real mad. I don't know why the F you do shit like this. It's childish. Dom, whatever. I don't know why you do this shit to me. I really hope you're sleeping. WTF is wrong with you? And he says, what do you mean? And then she says, WTF. You left me on red at 11 and then ignored me until now. You were mean all day yesterday and now you're going to do it again today, she says. You're just sitting there stressing me out for no reason, ignoring me and leaving me on red for what? She said. For what? And then she says, and then when I finally get your ride asked to reply, you give me the most dry reply I've seen in my life. He says, no, I'm not. And she says, then what are you doing then? Like, you were so mean for no reason today. I'm just trying to hang out because you're the only person my mom is going to let me chill with because someone my dad knew just effing died. I want to hang out with you. Whatever, just keep treating me like shit. Like you just said, no, I'm not. And then you continue to ignore me. It's sad how you're still ignoring me. You can just make it up to me later today. What the hell does she mean by that? Like, what does she mean by that? It's do not disturb. It's a phone feature. Yeah. Oh, Abuelita says coffee fund. Abuelita says coffee fund for tomorrow. Thank you, Abuelitas. Love you. She says, I appreciate you. Mark says, I think she changed her number by now. Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't think. Kenzie, nobody owes you anything. Yeah, so sweet, Abuelita. I wonder if he's trying to make her mad so she would break up with him. Unfortunately, if that was the case, it didn't work. I agree. Shout out to Abuelita again for the super chat. Thank you. Shanta says, making up stories about her dad's friends dying, trying to manipulate him. Like, yeah. Why does she do that? She's like, oh, your mom cooked bomb food. Oh, my dad's friend died. Oh, I burned my finger. Like, we don't care, Mackenzie. Joe says, maybe Natalie did a lot of drugs when she was pregnant. I don't know. I'm not laughing. That's not funny, but like, I know what you mean because you're saying like, in a sense of like, what the hell is wrong with Mackenzie? Yeah, I don't know. That dynamic, it's something I really think we should dive deeper into. She says, you can just make it up to me later today. And he says, I was driving. And she says, so you're going to make it up to me? And he says, what do you mean? She says, are you going to make it up to me? Are you going to fix what you've been doing to me for the last day and a half? Are you home now? Can I come over? She emphasizes it. Answer, WTF. Dom, I swear to God, are you trying to make me flip out? Very fake of you, Dom. I'm about to be on my way. See you in 5 minutes. He says, really? She says, want to stop being a DICK? He says, I'm about to leave to do some sales. She says, okay, I'm ready. You can come get me. You can make it up to me right now. Dude, Mackenzie, he doesn't want to make it up to you. Like, I'm literally about to jump through the computer screen into these text messages and flip out. Do I sound like Mackenzie now? Kim says negative attention seeking is better than none at all. The only way she can get attention from her parents is if she's dramatic. Makes sense, sadly. Mallory's like, I can't. I think he's being mean to her because he's trying to make her not want anything to do with him and get the hint. Oh, that's a good one. Like, push her away. Why not just break up with her and block her and tell her, like, and tell her parents, like, I don't want anything to do with her. And if you don't keep your daughter away, I'm going to get a restraining order. Mark's like, shut the F up even for 5 minutes. Saint says, yes, Smelly, yes. She's almost bypassed her parents and turned Dom into a pseudo-parent himself. In addition to being her boyfriend, he feeds her, provides her with a place to live, gives her drugs, the same shit as her daddy. That's a good one. Persephone Plum. That's good. Yeah. So it's like a psychological thing. So maybe Mackenzie looks for Dom a partner for like a relationship, stability, discipline, acceptance is what I feel like she seeks from Dom, right? Oh, pick my nails, pick my outfit. Are you flirting with her? Do I look cute? I looked cute for you. Like, do you see what I'm saying? She's like a little yapping dog at your feet. She's detached from her own family and completely latched onto Dom's. That's what I said. Dom is her doctor / daddy. Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. to Davion and Dom. Very true. Okay, so she says, you can make it up to me right now. Stop effing ignoring. You're such an effing dick. You treat me like this for no reason, and I never deserve it, she says. Wow. What a narcissist. I never deserve it. So you think just threatening to show up at his house and being a psychopath is normal? There's no security when you have parents that let you do whatever you want. Dom offered her a sort of security that she needed from her parents. Also, parents have allowed her to do things they probably wouldn't if he wasn't getting them drugs or pot. Yeah, I think, here's what I think. I think that they were all selling marijuana, and shrug, and all these rugs. I was going to say shrugs and schmurder at the same time. Hey, Cakes Boo. Hi, love. Good to see you. So I think that maybe could one of them been growing it? Maybe Steve Shirilla? Like later? I don't know. Just a thought. I wonder what it was like when they were in the same room. A family affair. We need a break from psych. A ploy to get him to be constant. Ugh. Poor Dom. You're such an effing dick. You treat me like this for no reason. I never deserve it. I'm ready, so come. He says, okay, come over. You can come over with me. And she says, okay, on my way. He says, then we'll get hibachi takeout after. Just don't be mean to me. She says, babe. So she ends up going over there. That's on 4/11. And then the next day, she says, babe, let me know when you're up. He literally can't even wake up. Like, can't even awaken from his deep sleep and nightmares. And she's like already there. Boom. Are you up? Are you up? Are you up? Are you awake? Let me know when you're up. Are you up? Are you awake? I'm just like, if someone was texting me that every single morning, I would throw my phone in the trash can. She almost seems to have dependent personality. I think this girl has so many things. And it truly makes me sad. I'm not trying to be mean about Mackenzie. It truly makes me sad. Like, I think she had issues. And like a lot of you have said in the chat, her parents lacked being parents. And that's sad. It's sad, as much as we think she's a piece of shit, it's still really sad. Does she sleep? No, she just sits down on her bed like a demon, waiting for Dom to wake up. So she says, babe, when you're up, let me know. And he says, I'm up. And he says, you got to look for your Easter basket. Look for your Easter basket. She's amusing in the worst way. Exactly. Did either of the family moves? I don't think so. Moved. So he says, you got to look for your Easter basket. She says, oh, can I come over after I get ready? He says, no. You have to sit outside. And she says, LOL. But for real, can I come now? And he says, yeah. We need to find our baskets. She says, okay, baby, I'm excited. What are you doing? Want to hang out soon? Babe? He says, I don't know what I'm doing today. Was that the same day? Okay, so it was the baskets was the 12th. So they must have hung out. And then she says the next day at 11:23, I want to hang out soon. Babe? He says, I don't know what I'm doing today. She says, just make plans with me. I'm down to go anywhere you want to go. LOL. And she sends She sends like a Apple Music screenshot or something, like a song. She says, listen to this. It sounds like that one song that I said sounds like a Chippy Red song. LMAO, are you just declining then not texting back? He says, because you don't wait for me to text back. She says, because you take too long. He says, well, I'll just take longer. See, that's crazy to me. Like, how can they go to bed. Okay, they do Easter with the damn Easter baskets. He's like, get the Easter basket. And she's like, okay. And then the next morning, he's like, I'm sick of your shit. Like, I don't want to hang out with you. Her anxiety is being confused with spoiled temper tantrum. She couldn't get her way. believe there's a photo. Yes, I have so many photos. We'll probably take a break from the messages, like maybe this week, and we should go through some of the photos. I want you guys to see the ridiculous photos she has. I might have to make it members only. I don't know, because, you know, like I said it before, I don't think YouTube's going to be okay with me putting Snapchats of Mackenzie hitting the bong. Truly is what I have. She even has a picture and her tongue is like hanging out like, and she has like all these mushrooms on her tongue. And I'm like, yeah, YouTube's going to put me on timeout. No, but yeah, they're crazy. Okay. So he says, well, I'll just take longer. And she says, so you're not going to reply to anything I said, LMAO, and WTF. I'm mad now, WTF. And she says, that is so nice of you, Dom. Why do you just have to be a DICK to me when I'm just trying to have a convo with you? Like, it makes no sense. He says, because you just be trying to annoy me. And she says, how? How the F am I trying to annoy you? Texting you is trying to annoy you? Are you stupid? And he says, you text me, then call right after, then text me, then call me again. And she says, because you declined, then you just don't answer. He says, whatever, I don't care. Just talk to me later. She says, you should care. Thanks for turning a convo into a fight. Thanks so much. Now you're just going to ignore me. He said, that's what you do. And she says, ignore you? I never ignore you. And she says, you just think I'm gonna be a DICK to Kenzie, then you turn me trying to talk to you into a fight. It's honestly effing annoying. Should type something there, right? Let me reread that again. You just think, oh, I'm gonna be a DICK to Kenzie, then you turn me trying to talk to you into a fight. Oh, okay, I see what she's saying. She says it's honestly effing annoying. And she says, in screenshot of their own conversation. And she says, see, you left me on red when I put the yellow line. Who even turns on the red receipts? Who? If you guys do it, I don't like that. I don't like the red receipts on. I don't need to know that. She never says, I'm so happy. Kim, I don't think she was ever happy. Does Mackenzie even know what that's like? I feel like she was always so high. She might not even know what a true emotion feels like. She's literally a BPD queen. I don't even know what a red receipt is. I don't like it. Does Dom's mom was a very good defense attorney. Well, if she was an attorney, why didn't she get her out of the freaking way? You know what I mean? Did you just really say that? Don't treat your babies like this. Don't be mean to me. I will show you. Oh, only with my parents. Okay, so she says, like, you always be starting this shit. I'm just trying to hang out or talk to you. Just make me feel, you just make it totally different thing. Like, I could be freaking out hellish shit right now. You're so annoying. Just hit me up when I can come over. Nice. Leaving me on red. Blank message. Wow. Now you're on D&D. I for real can't. He says, I'll text you later. She says, fine. What are you doing? Okay, dude, I text you later means like end the convo. Like, don't respond. Not like, oh, okay, what are you doing? Celie. Oh, Celie, thank you for becoming a member, joining Mellyverse. I appreciate you, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have them on for my 2 kids. That's it. I'm fine with red receipts as long as it's not in a relationship, dude. That's just crazy. You know, in a toxic one. Like, if you're in a good or healthy relationship, I don't care. If you want to share red receipts and location, like, whatever. But when it's about, like, controlling and just, like, degrading your partner, I don't think that's good and healthy. And I know a lot of you probably would agree with that. Again, thank you, Celie, for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Oh my God, they just hung out yesterday. Now she's freaking out because he doesn't want to hang out. You know, I'm married. If he doesn't answer me, I just help. Kim's like, I'm just going to the other room. Right. For how much she smokes, you would think she would be a lot calmer. Yeah. Yeah, I never knew that pot made someone be so angry and evil like this. She's so toxic. Her sweet is used as a bioweapon. That's interesting, Rebecca. I like that you've got the deets on the local stuff. What did I miss from Rebecca? Mindy says, right for home. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. I like to read what you guys say. Russell had the no name of Cleveland area, so his mom being a defense attorney is no joke. Jeez. I wish she could have done something to get her son away from this. Can you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to pin this on anyone specifically, but like, if someone would have done something to try to prevent them from being together, like, it's possible Dom could still be alive. Right? I don't know. Don't come for me. I know people in the comments are gonna be like, what do you mean, Melly? Mayla's mom says, I feel like Dom had to enjoy this to a degree, but he could have broken up and got restrained in order and moved on. You know, I've been thinking that too. We're like, why doesn't he just break up with her? But then now I have this thought, you guys. What if Dom just didn't have the confidence and didn't believe in himself like we are thinking he did, which could have put him in the position of not to leave Mackenzie, as much as he was like her safety in a sense, even though it wasn't safety. It's like an abusive safety, trauma bond. You guys said that in the other live. So I feel like maybe that's, you know, we know Dom had issues too. So maybe he just felt like he couldn't get better. But then, you know, that makes me think, well, like all these other girls wanted him. They were willing to hook up with him when he was in a relationship. He was cheating, remember? So then I think, like, why did he feel that way? You know, he literally could not. He even took a break. I think he didn't know what he was dealing with. He was only 18. They're very young. And that is like another thing. That's why I keep bringing up the parents. Because like, even at 18, like, my dad was still very much involved with like what I was doing, who I was doing, was I smoking pot? Like, you know what I mean? Just like a parental responsibility. Her crazy was better than having to deal with his own brother's issues. Maybe both of their home lives were not good, you know, and we just don't know a lot of stuff. That's also possible, you know. Does, you know, that quote, like, walk a mile in people's shoes. Like, I really do believe that. That's why I try not to be like a judgmental person as much as we're being judgmental here, but just in general, because like, you never know, right, what people are dealing with. And it could have very much been that situation. Maybe they were both in a really shitty situation. You know, we don't know. And there's a lot to this case. I feel like now that we're seeing the text and the phone calls and like all of this stuff. Very true, Millie. Passive aggressive is a huge sign of insecurity. I don't think he loved her. I think it was convenience. Yeah, for like the rugs and stuff. My daughter's 27. I'm still involved in all. Yeah, Celie, that's my parents. I'm older than that, but like I don't leave my parents alone, dude. Sometimes my dad probably puts me on block because I'm like calling him to be like, you know, to get his opinion, get his advice, get his guidance. Like they both didn't have that, I don't think. My dad puts me on D&D. Why are you putting me on D&D? No. I thought he got with that girl when they were on a break and she called it cheating. She always had a feeling that she was being cheated on. So she says, fine, what are you doing? He says, chillin'. She says, when are you going to let me come over? This is on 4/13 at 3:03 p.m. She says, also, when are you going to not reply slow and dry? I don't like that term, like dry. Melly, you don't ask your father, I don't like my finger. No. Dude. Sometimes I'll ask my dad even like about my makeup and he's just like, what? I'm like, do you like it? And he's like, he's like, just go ask mom. But yeah. He's like, you're beautiful. You know, it's such a dad answer. Oh my God, this is too much, Mackenzie. My daughter has me on 360. I share my location all the time. I'll go out and be like, boop, here's my location. Sometimes I send it so much and my dad's like, dude, are you all right? My dad would scoop me if I was a brat like her and drop me in the boonies. Dude, my dad would have shipped me off. Mexico boot camp to a facility to get help. I'm gonna sleep night all. Good night, Emily. Thank you for being here. Rub her feet. The way Kenzie talks to her parents is insane. I know it is. So she says, I don't know if you just chillin', text back fast, baby. Why are you still on D&D? And he says, I'm talking to Blair. She says, okay, let me come. It's been a while. Let me come hang now. Please, just let me come now. Dom? And he says, not now. She says, in 1 hour? He says, I might get TD with the boys. She says, you're not supposed to be with hella people. Then hang with me now so you can be the boys later. So you can be with the boys later. Dom, answer. And he says, I don't know. She says, just let me come now. She says, I wanted to play PS4 and watch movies with you tonight, but it's whatever. Then you can go hang with your boys, Dom, for real. Just let me come. Text back fast, Dom. And then she says, ugh. He says, I'm about to go hang with them. We can hang another day. And she says, Dom, you're going to ignore me all effing night and day. Hang with me for an hour or two. And she says, Dom, I'm about to freak out. Answer. He says, why? She says, Dom, I'm for real going to flip out. And he says, why? She says, you're going to go wherever you're going. Then you're going to ignore me the whole effing time. You won't even go to hell with me because too many people, but you can go get effed up with people. Hang with me for 1 hour before you go. He says, it's just going to be like 3 people. She says, just 1 hour. Who? Hang with me. Just go at 5, Dom. Just hang with me for 1 hour. Why are you just leaving me on red? Dom. And he says, I'm on 1. She says, Dom, let me come over until 5. And then she says, on my effing way. You're such an a-hole. I'm done. I'm on my way. He doesn't respond. And she says, I really don't know what your issue, like you're dry AF all day and you ignore me like you're at home. Plug your phone in. You for real break me more and more every time you just F me over like this. Dude, she thinks that she's being effed over. And he's just like trying to not hang out with her. Like the fact that she thinks it's this serious shows like how much she depended on him. Like you guys were saying, wow, so insecure, so insecure. Hey, Tracy, good to see you. He just said he's going to hang out with the boys. Leave him alone. Right, Mallory? Leave him the F alone. Poor Davion getting mixed up in this. I know. I think it was a perfect storm of her being super needy and him secretly loving the attention. Yeah, I agree. Wait. With the info Kenzie had on Dom, he couldn't get a restraining order. She threatened to tell on him and blackmail him, according to his mother. Ooh, I guess. Let that be a lesson of be careful who you date. You know, after I see this relationship, I'm like, and all these crimes like Taylor Business and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe, you know, I'll think twice next time I want to date someone. The mind games from both of them is giving me whiplash. Mel's mom is like ready to file a lawsuit against Mackenzie. She says, you for real break me more and more every time you just F me over like this. LOL, thanks for the effort, Dom. And he says, what? And she says, you can plug your effing phone in. And he says, I think you're overreacting. He says, I did. She says, stop using 1% as an effing excuse. Dom, I swear to God, let me come over for 1 hour. And he says, I couldn't find my charger. He says, no. She says, WTF is wrong with you? You always talk about not breaking quarantine. Then you go and get drunk with a effing R word. You know, I don't like the R word and the F word, and they just say it, and it's so disgusting and trashy to me. It really is. What did the mother think she was going to tell, right? What did his mother think she was going to tell? He also sounded scared of her with the threats and the crazy things she was saying she was saying would scare the hell out of anyone. Blackmail is a thing under your bed. I don't think it's the pot, just like it wasn't The Potts. Yeah, Bets. I know what you mean. The Mary Jane and then like the condition she had. Never met a man say WTF. She kind of sounds like she has histrionic personality disorder. Boom. That's a good one. We were thinking like some kind of personality disorder. But that's a good one, yeah. So she says, you always talk about not quarantine, then you go and get drunk with effing retard. And he says, it's going to be like two people, but okay. She says, and maybe if you didn't ignore me all day, I wouldn't flip out like this. And she says, then who? He says, well, three if you include me. She says, who are the two? And he says, whatever. And she says, who? If you don't say who, I'm for real coming over to your house right now. He says, probably Kyle. She says, and Kristen? He says, I don't like your attitude. I don't know. And she says, I don't like when you ignore me all day. He says, you're pissing me off. I'm going to ignore you the rest of today. She says, and you're just going to ignore me tonight too. You're making me upset. And Dom says, you made me upset. And Mackenzie says, tell me you're not going to ignore me all night. How? I didn't ignore you all day. I did nothing to upset you when you're just sitting here being mean when I'm hurt. And Dom says, you're being mean. She says, because you ignore me, Dom, what do you expect? I try so hard to get you to answer and it just never works. Like it makes me so effing depressed. Like all you have to do is tell me you won't ignore me and it's okay. But no, you just argue. Like it's just not that hard to make me happy. He says, well, because I usually just be doing shit. And then when you're mean, I just go on D&D so then it doesn't vibrate. She says, there's a lot going on in my life. And I just want you to answer when I text you. Or not be on D&D when I try to call you, like I'm not going to spam you. I haven't done that in a while. Lies? What is this? You're definitely spamming him when you say, Dom, text me back. Are you ignoring me? Dom, I'm on my way. I'm outside the door. I'm in the shower. I'm behind the shower curtain. Like, you know what I mean? She's a creep. There's a lot going on in her life, AKA texting Dom all day and night. How does she even have time to do anything? It's not that hard just to make her happy. What? She's tripping. She's just so extra about everything. Everything is a huge deal and everything is always about her. Yeah, Carrie. He's like, what'd you say? Huh? Are you speaking English? Or are you speaking Espanol? If you completely believe you're in love, you probably would get obsessed at her age. You know, that is a good point. That's a good point, you know. Young kids think of love differently. Yeah, I won't knock that. I definitely did think of it differently when I was younger. I think we all did, right? Shug says, when do we get to the part? Oh, yeah. Bring your planner, Shug. Soon, hopefully. Oh, thank you, Sarah, babe. She says, Melly, you're the best at reading these. Thank you. And then she says, or you could even say that it's okay, babe. We can just hang tomorrow or you can come sleep over when I'm home. She says, see, look how easy it is to be nice to me. All people know how to do is do me wrong. Even the people you love the most. And Dom says, okay. Oof, that's cold. That's a little cold. I won't lie. That's a little cold. And she says, and he says, okay. And she says, like, if you're just nice, none of this will ever happen. And see, WTF. Okay, really nice job just being rude as usual. Can nice words leave your mouth over text? Can you only be nice in person? She said. He doesn't respond. And she says, you are literally mean to me over text. And he says, if I'm not doing anything, you can come over. And she says, we both know you're not going to help, but you could really help by calling me because some shit with me and Megan just went really bad. He says, just leave her alone. It'll probably be fine. And she says, see, that just proved my point. Why can't you ever be there for me? You don't even know what happened. And you say that. He says, I thought you would tell me what happened. And Mackenzie says, we both know you're not going to help, but you could really help by calling me because some shit with me and Megan just went really bad. You could really help by calling. And he says, well, I don't want to talk on the phone. Can you just text me? And she says, I knew you wouldn't be able to be there for me. I really don't get it. If I wanted to text you about it, I would, but I know you're going to just take 30 minutes to answer between each text. I don't know why I still try to find people to be there for me when no one ever is. Like my effing baby can't even call me for 5 minutes to be there for me when I'm at a low point in my life. You would rather go get effed up with people that wouldn't even care if you just stopped talking to them than help me. And he says, I'll talk to you later about it if you want. She says, wow, I'm sad AF. How you can't be there for me? Like it's really effed up. Thanks for making it worse. You for real just made it so much worse. Like just keep showing me how little you care. You would rather be with your friends who are users than sit here for 5 minutes and talk to me. And Dom says, you're a user. Oh, I'm sorry. If my boyfriend said that to me, I would be like, next? Where's the next one? You know what I mean? Like, not really, but I would be like, bye, block. Your whole life is a low point, Mackenzie, says Cuts in Black. 93K texts and 90Ks are her. Right. Not 30 minutes. She sure has a lot of drama in her life, says Mayla's mom. She doesn't give a F about what she's going through, what he wants, but yes, she wants him to care about her. Dom had 99 problems and Kenzie's all but one. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, Kim, because he's a dealer and everyone would lose the pleb's number. Okay, so were her friends just, in it to be in it? Sunburn says, I don't understand this relationship. I think it's almost normal for us to be a little befuddled. You know what I mean? It's really toxic and crazy relationship and dangerous and unhealthy, unstable, abusive, coercive. And there's so many words that could describe this unhealthy relationship. My ex-boyfriend recorded that JC song on his voicemail when we broke up. Oh no. And her mom says now they were soulmates. That's creepy. So he says, you're a user. And she says, I am? ? I use you? ? You're honestly such a DICK. And he says, yeah. She says, that's what you're going to say to me when I'm asking for help? All right, Dom, we can play your game. I'm walking to your house. See you soon. Smiley. That is crazy. It's the audacity of all. It's hard to see only redeeming qualities within her. She's like, see you soon, Smiley, which is quite scary. And he says, what? I'm not there. She says, oh, that sucks. I'm still on my way, walking right now. And he says, nice. LOL, I'm not coming home for a bit. She says, guess not. I'm going to have to walk to Kyle soon, she said. He says, I'm not there. She says, if you're not there, I'm walking to Carl's. You're such an effing bitch. Only bitchs treat girls like this, especially when they're asking for your help. One day you're going to wake up and hate yourself over how you treat me. You can't pick and choose when you're going to treat me good, she said. He says, I try not to. She says, try not to worry, treat me like shit, because if so, you're not trying at all. And he says, okay, whatever. I'll just talk to you later. She says, I'm about to come find your effing car and say that until your rude ass is ready to effing leave. Might take a quick nap in there. I don't know. If you want to play these games, I'll play 3 times harder and win, she says. I would take that as, that's pretty sinister. Yeah, Amy, I would take that as a threat. No wonder the detective pulled this from the Celebrite data. That definitely is a threat. This is going to be on Netflix. I can feel it. I can feel it too, Kim. She's testing him. Yeah, just me. He hated her. He felt guilty. He was afraid of what trouble she could get him into because of the rugs. Yeah. Psycho, agreed Mallory. She hates Carl until she can make Dom jealous. That's insane. Yeah. So she says, I'll play 3 times harder and win. He says, I don't know what you mean. She says, I mean, I'm going to effing find where you are and sit in your dumbass car until you're ready to stop being a DICK. Aw, I see Nico. Want to tell me where you at so you can make it easier? He says, getting food. She says, where? And she sends a picture of herself with weed in her hand. And he says, Chick-fil-A. And she says, damn, when will you be at Kyle's or Carl's? Okay, when are you going to be back? I might leave and come back. And he says, I don't know. He says, Kyle can't have people over. Just gonna book it. And she says, okay, come scoop me. I'm at your house. And Kristen and me might hang sometime. It's cool because I never talked to her yet. She could be there for me. You for real owe me an apology. Reply. And he doesn't. And she says, I'm for real leaving, but when you're home, I'm coming back and you better stop ignoring me and being rude. He says, I'm driving. She says, don't care. I'm coming over when you're home. And I'm mad at you and you need to say sorry to me. Shake my head, she says. You need to learn. He says, sorry. He says, we can chill later or tomorrow. She says, we chilling later and I'll sleep over. You can make it up to me again by doing movie game night. And sorry means nothing to me. He says, when? She says, when you're home. And she says, take the time to type out sorry. And you to bed to stop ignoring. I'm being so serious. You can't apologize, then ignore me. He says, I'm not. And okay. Are you there now? And she says, no, I went home. LOL. I got bored. I can be back at your house in 2 seconds. So he says, oh, okay, we can hang tonight. She says, when will you be back? And what are you doing? And he says, I don't know. I was hooping a little today. She says, can you just come back soon and hang with me, please? It's already getting late. And she says, Dom? He says, I don't know. She says, can you just go back to your house? Like it's already 7. Just go back. You've been gone for a while. And I want to hang with you before it gets dark. Answer. And he says, I haven't been gone for that long. She says, yes, you have. Reply fast and get off D&D. Can I just go to your house or something and you can come back at 9? He says, if you want. She says, will you be back at 9? Dom, I'm going to go to your house, but answer. Answer. Also, where even are you? Answer, so I can go to your house. He says, I don't know, at 9 maybe, but yeah, you can go there. She says, where are you? And come at 9, Dom, for real. I'm going right now. He says, I don't know if I can. She says, I'm there. Your mom made food. And how the F don't you know if you can? If you don't come back at 9, I'm going to be really mad at you. She says, did you hide a cart? Did you hit a cart? I know where you are, N-word. You're with gross ass N-words. Like, really? That's weird AF, LMAO. And he says, what do you mean? She says, you're with weird ass people. You can hang with Davion and Travis, but you can't hang with me. I'll see you at 9. He says, we were ballin'. And I'm not coming at 9 because you're being mean. She says, I'm not being mean. Saying someone is weird isn't mean. LOL. Come back at 9. Don't be a DICK. You were already mean today and yesterday. You were already mean today and here. And he said, I don't know. And she said, Ashish is here. You can see him. And he says, okay. And Mackenzie says, are you coming? Question mark, question mark. And he says, yeah. And she says, okay, bet. She's just asking, how far are you? Come back now? Dom? He says, probably not yet. She says, please, before 9. She says, I'm bored. He says, I might be able to do that. And she says, what are you guys doing? Is he okay? And your mom is making dinner. And he says, yeah, he's chilling. Oh, okay, good. She says, just try to come back before 9. LOL. Are you coming? And he said, yeah, soon. She says, okay, come. LOL. So then that was in the evening at 9:17 p.m. And then the next morning, she says, morning, baby. He says, morning. She says, my mom got me hella Lush Sit and I just used some after I showered and my skin popping. He says, that's dope. Me and Angela cooking it and then Toph just came upstairs and killed my vibe. She says, that's gay AF. You should tell him to just go to his room or something. And Dom says, my dad called me about Topher this morning. Like, I really give an F. So then I tell Toph to call dad like he told me to. Then he just didn't say anything, didn't say nothing. Like, at some point, this N-word just got to suck it up. Like, what the F is wrong with him? Like, you asked me last night if you think I'm blessed. And I said, yeah, I'm in the 1% of this N-word live in the greatest country ever with a family with both parents and lots of siblings. And this N-word want to be a bitch, like America, a promised land of success, literally. Like, if you don't succeed in America, you're just an effing R word. R-E-T-A-R-D. If you're not happy in America, you're just an effing R-E-T-A-R-D. That's what Dom said. Okay. And she says, yeah, that's true for real. Just have your mom say something to him. And Dom says, the F she's supposed to say, they cater to him every day when he just doesn't do anything or give no effort. He's like a baby. He don't move, clean, or do anything. And everyone just have to clean up after him and take care of him. He's talking about his brother. And Mackenzie says, I don't know, for real, someone just need to tell him how he's acting is not cool. Or everyone should just stop cleaning after him and make him do it. I don't know. And Dom says he won't. No one will till it just gets worse. He is literally cancer. Mackenzie says, if you guys do that, your living room would probably just be F. For real, I don't know how you could. He sends a screenshot of a message. And he says, I just sent my mom that. Maybe she'll get it. And Mackenzie says, damn, she will for sure get it, but that's how it is. I just really feel like someone needs to yell at him or something. What's your move today? Dom, OMG. And she sends a screenshot of something. And he says, what's up? She says, WTF. What do I even say? He says, be like, nah. Mackenzie says, like, I want to help her because her family is effed, but like her boyfriend threatened me and she tried to set me up. Like, what if she changed? He says, nah, just be like, there's a line you can't go back from. Mackenzie says, I feel really bad, but I'll say it. Thanks, babe. And what are you doing today? Dom? And he says, I'm just chilling with Angelo right now. When you don't, would you want to hang? She says. Dom is Hackman leaving the high school. He says, hey, bet. Mackenzie says, I'm hype. Do you still want to chill when you're done hanging with Angelo? Babe? And he says, maybe. I don't know what time, though. And she says, LMAO, hang with me, baby. What are you doing right now? He says, just chilling with Angelo. I'm about to make some food, probably. She says, in a little, can I come hang with you guys? Dom? Text me back. And he says, yeah. So I know his brother, Christopher, it's the trashy words they use. I know, Sarah. Very trashy. Isn't her brother like special needs? I mean, his brother, Christopher, she hits all the marks for borderline personality. She's lazy. Everything she's saying is her. Kenzie's like too weak to walk, so she needs a ride to scoop. She's still harassing people and trying to change the narrative as if anybody believes she isn't guilty. Crazy. Yeah, it's true, Sarah. She says, so he says, yeah. And then she says, I can come soon. Is that what you say yeah to? Let's go on a bone. Or she means boon. And he says, I already smoked. I don't feel that good. She says, oh, want to just hang then? We can bake some shit. But did you say yes to coming soon? Why did you leave me on red? He says it was by accident. She says, answer though. He says, you can come in a little. She says, bet, my fit cute AF. He says, LOL. She says, can I come in 5? Can I come now? When you talk to me like that on the phone, it gets me bummed AF. I get your tummy hurts and I'm going to be there to take care of you, my babe, but you don't sound super uninterested when I talk to you. I'll text you in 30 minutes. He says, you want to make Rice Krispie treats? She says, OMG, yes. What kind of edible or regular? He says, edible. She says, yeah, I'm deaf down. Can I come through now? Babe, he says, come through in like 20 or something. She says, it's been like 30 minutes. I'll come at 5:40. That's cool, right? He says, yeah. She says, okay, bet. I'm about to come. The cake is done. Playboy Cardi song Trash. it's like, okay, not bad, but not good. And she sends a Fox News, something about the pandemic. And she says, read that. He says, I don't care anymore. She says, it's just so effed up at this point. And then she sends a picture, I think, of Dom. And then she says, I for real laughed out loud at the video. Oh, she sent him a video. And he says, the noise. She said, yes. Want to chill? He says, maybe. She says, what are you doing? And he said, just drove past your house. She said, come get me. LOL. He says, I can't. She says, when you're done, you want to hang and get Shinto. He says, Shinto hurts my stomach. She says, okay, then let's just hang. It's low key. It low key does sometimes. I want to hang with you soon when you're done with runs. Come get me. Baby, I'm really bored. Babe, answer, please. He says, I don't know if I want to hang. She says, oh, that's fine. If not, what are you doing? And I'm drawing a surprise. Don't leave me on red. He says, it was by accident. She says, well, answer, LOL. And look at Insta. And he says, okay, I don't think it's loading. She says, oh, you gonna love it. And what are you doing? And he says, just got home. She says, I've been drawing for long AF. And he says, what are you drawing? She says, that one little Uzi thing, I'm doing me now. And I have to do shadows after. He says, okay. She says, want to hang later tonight? Babe, it's done. Okay, nice, not answering. And he says, I was doing stuff. She says, did you see the drawing? And he says, doesn't respond. She sends it again. And she says an audio message. And he says, LMAO, that's funny AF. And she says, it's funny your way of saying you love it. It's funny your way of saying you love it. Can you stop ignoring me and slow replying? He says, stop effing spamming me. And yes. She says, I was about to say that because the drawing took like 2 hours. After I eat, do you want to hang and watch movies? Babe, text back. Sad face. I'm trying to have a convo. I don't know why you're taking so long to answer. He says, I couldn't find my phone. LOL. I ate more edibles. I'm really fried, he says. Mackenzie says, LOL. That's the most fried shit. I want to eat one. Want to hang and watch movies or play Mortal Kombat. And he says, not Mortal Kombat, but I'll play some games. And she says, LOL, want to hang right now? Babe, I can come through right now. He says, not right now, but soon. She says, can I come at 8:40? And he says, maybe. She says, not too late, please. If I'm tired, I won't want to play. She said, you should just let me come now. And it's 8:25 p.m. She says, Dom, what about now? She questions it. And then she says, babe, text me back. He says, maybe I'm chilling with Angelo and Shmish. She says, Dom, you told me we can chill soon. Like, it's been soon and you can't just tell me yes and then start chilling with other people. Like, just let me come now and hang out with them. Dom, for real. Really? She says, this shit is so annoying. If you didn't want to hang, you shouldn't have said, yeah, I'll play some games. Then, yeah, soon, like, question mark, question mark. He says, okay, fine, you can come hang. She says, okay, on my way. She says, where you at? I'm in your room. She says, it's funny how you can just ignore me all day. When I finally come to your house after you say we can play video games, you just make me watch you play 2K for hours. She says, I'm in your room so you can come say sorry. Or you can keep being like that. This is literally at 11:30 at night. And then he says, what? And she says, red? And he says, I don't know. She says, I don't know what the F is wrong with you. You are so rude for no reason. He says, not trying to. She says, maybe try a lot harder because you tell me I can come over and we can play video games and you just have me watch you play 2K. Wow, so fun. You're the one who won't leave him alone, Mackenzie. You're the one who's like, can I just sit there and stare at you? Her sister's name is Danielle. I didn't know what her name was. So means right now and now means yesterday. Right, Kim? So she says, so what are you going to do? Come in here and apologize or keep acting rude? Dom says, that's not what happened, but okay. She says, then what happened? She says, so you're not going to come to apologize? I swear to God. And he says, no, I'm not. She says, you're an effing DICK. If you don't come back into the room, if you don't come, I'm going to come back into the room and just kill the mood. So you can come say sorry or keep being like that. And he says, you already did before. And she says, when? The F? When you started being rude? She says, okay, I'll just come back in right now. And that ended at 11:41 p.m. on 4/16. So then the next day is 4/17, and that's where we're going to stop. That's what we're going to stop for tonight. We got through over 1,000 pages in text today. Wow. We have been live for quite some time. I didn't realize it had been 4 hours. So shout out to you guys for being here for that long. She did kill the mood the minute she was born. She loved to threaten and constantly bully him. I know. Wow, you are on fire. No, you guys are on fire. Shout out to you guys for hanging out and being here for that long. Yay! I appreciate you guys so much. Okay, so I wrote down what page we're left off on. I'm doing a Mackenzie live earlier tomorrow in the day, so hopefully we can do just as long as of a live as we did tonight. I do plan to do another one tomorrow, so definitely 4 hours. I thought we had been here for days. I thought that it went by fast for me reading these texts with you guys. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to everyone who supported Super Chats, gifting, Mark, Crimey, Uncrimey, Abuelitas, everybody. Thank you. You're much appreciated. No, you guys are much appreciating being here, hanging out, commenting. I love and appreciate you guys so much. I love hearing what you guys have to say. These are the type of conversations that I want in my channel and that I want discussing these cases. Did I just mean the way Mackenzie is? No, I get it, Mayel's mom. It's been 4 hours, more like 4 minutes. Don't leave us. Damn, I'd be thirsty after 4. You guys know me. I read documents on my channel all the time. Like I love reading court documents and stuff. I think the longest one I did was 200 pages, and it was about Fulton County and the corruption. I believe it was that. So yeah, I'm used to reading. I don't mind it. I love it, actually. We love you, girl. Thank you. Love your channel. Thank you. Okay, so definitely make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And I know most of you guys have your notifications on, but definitely don't leave us on red. Can we chill now? Come scoop us. Can you guys wait in my room for me, please? Just sit on the floor and wait and stare at the wall. Thank you. Why am I addicted to this? I know, I'm addicted to it too, which is why I can do a live for 4 hours on it. It's pretty wild. Yeah, hit the like on the way out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We will be doing, we're going to be covering the baby Emmanuel case tomorrow, and then Mackenzie. So definitely make sure you are back tomorrow. I have the time set up right now, but they might change. I'll definitely try to do Mackenzie first tomorrow, though, because I know you guys love it. So happy I joined your channel. Thank you, Shanta, for being here. I'm so happy you are here. Melly After Dark. I was thinking of maybe doing a Melly After Dark after this. So yeah, we might, Robert. I'm getting worried. We're worried how affected we are by this. You know, someone said in my comments, like, has her parents hit you up to try to shut you down? And I'm like, they have not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? This is part of the evidence package. So it is what it is. I ain't doing anything that, like, you know, I ain't doing anything wrong. So it's just out there. It's out there for us to read and find out what exactly she was like. 2 young people in pain. We both with looming mental illness, drug abuse, and no parental supervision. Yeah, you promised. Yes, we'll be back tomorrow. It's already scheduled, like I said, for a specific time, but even if it changes, I'll be back tomorrow for sure. This is Emily After. No, we were just reading the text. Her parents can go kick rocks. Exactly. We usually do Melly After Darks like late at night. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Okay, I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Like I said, I will see you on the next one. Make sure you hit the like button on. And thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you on the next one.